Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Changing Life and Career. I planted the world tree at the beginning. Chapter 61. River Sun City Professional Association. President Su Jungwei was holding a photo and a stack of documents, lost in thought. The photo was sent back from the Eastwind Town Instance Center. The report shows that this afternoon, a young boy, all by himself, cleared all the beginner instances in Eastwind Town. Moreover, his clearance time was unbelievably fast, ranking first on all 8 instance leaderboards. Especially for the after the catastrophe instance, he managed to clear it in just over a minute, which is simply incredible. This is an achievement that ordinary beginner players cannot possibly reach. The Instance Center speculates that this person's method of clearing instances should be using high-level magic scrolls to instantly kill all the enemies on the map. At first, Su Jungwei thought it was someone from a powerful force and was prepared to negotiate with them, asking them to tone it down a bit. However, after investigation, it was discovered that there was no such powerful force. The person who cleared the instances turned out to be a local resident of River Sun City, and even a newcomer in the current batch of beginner players, a student from River Sun First Middle School. He has no parents, but his sister, Chen Mo, was the top scorer in the previous Cloud River Province College entrance examination and entered the highest institution in the Soaring Dragon Empire, Soaring Dragon University. And, just 1 month after enrolling, she completed a nightmare-level first-tier mission. 2 months later, all of Chen Mo's personal information became classified, and even her family information entered a confidentiality program. A place like Soaring Dragon University, a genius who has achieved something will definitely have a way to help their family. However, it's quite extraordinary for Chen Mo to help in this way. And, she spoils her younger brother too much. Unfortunately, before her remarkable performance in the college entrance examination, she didn't have any special achievements, so a character like this coming from our River Sun City couldn't establish any connections. Wait, this Chen Yu seems to have a good relationship with Yu Yu. Squeak. Just then, the office door was pushed open. Su Jungwei looked towards the door. He saw Su Miaoyu, dressed in a retro fringe dress, walking in with a smile on her face, and called out in a sweet voice, "Grandpa." "Yu Yu is here." Su Jungwei put away the documents and nodded. Some time ago, when Su Miaoyu changed to a hidden profession, Su Jungwei was quite happy about it. The Su family is a family of professionals with many branches. Among the younger generation, Su Miaoyu has the highest talent and is bound to achieve something in the future, even surpassing him as the current head of the family. Oh, level 12 already. Not bad, not bad. With your growth rate, even the qualification for Soaring Dragon University is within reach. After investigating Su Miaoyu's level, Su Jungwei showed a satisfied expression. The Soaring Dragon Empire's examination for combat professionals is divided into 2 rounds. In the first round, 1,000 people are selected from each province to participate in the second round. In the second round of the examination, the final rankings are determined in a large-scale instance. The second round is where candidates from all over the country enter the same instance, so there are both provincial rankings and national rankings. Top professional universities will admit students based on the national rankings. However, each province also has special admission quotas for top universities. These special admission quotas are completely transparent and start with the provincial top scorer, selecting according to rankings until all the quotas are used up. This also leads to some geniuses who don't think they can get into their desired university to go to a province with slightly weaker competition in this year's examination and compete for the special admission quotas. The strength of professionals is often linked to their level. After changing professions, in the nearly 1 month before the examination, the focus of beginner professionals will be on leveling up. Ignoring the astonishing monsters in Opening Heaven, for combat professionals, reaching level 10 before the examination is considered average. If they reach level 20, they can firmly rank in the top 1,000 in the province and qualify for the second round of rankings. Level 25 to 30 is the level of the provincial top scorer. In the world of professionals, experience points from killing monsters are distributed based on contribution. Although there is no level penalty, letting beginners finish off monsters that have been weakened to low health for them to gain experience is so inefficient that no force is willing to cultivate newcomers in this way. As for instances, although experience is evenly distributed, instances have level restrictions and can only be entered by professionals at the current stage. Beginners cannot enter instances above level 50. Professionals above the first tier cannot enter beginner instances. If a beginner professional is not strong enough and wants to gain high returns in beginner instances, they can only use high-level consumables with high damage. High-level consumables are extremely valuable. Organizations with such strength would generally not use this method to cultivate newcomers and compete for rankings in the examination because it is simply not worth it. The most luxurious way to cultivate newcomers is to have a team of level 50 professionals who are proficient in beginner instances and have them specialize in guiding others. However, the cost of doing so is very high, and most forces cannot afford it. Newcomer professionals with potential will not delay their own future for small gains. Those who feel hopeless about their prospects often lack strength. Therefore, in most cases, the level before the examination can represent a professional's true level. There are some who spare no expense to cultivate their own descendants to participate in the college entrance examination, but they are only a very small minority. Grandfather, I want to apply to use the family resources. Su Miaoyu walked up to Su Jungwei and said seriously. In a long-standing family of professional practitioners, there is a mature resource allocation system within the family. To use the family resources, one must demonstrate their own value. Waste is not worthy of cultivation. Of course, for someone like Su Miaoyu, who has a hidden profession and outstanding talent, the family will definitely give her full support. The ordinary descendants of the Su family can't easily approach Su Jungwei. Do you want the right to use the beginner's instance dungeon? I have already approved it for you. Su Jungwei smiled and said, and here, this is for you. Su Jungwei handed a square stone tablet to Su Miaoyu. Beginner's instance dungeon cooldown token. Quality: rare. Effect: can be used on a beginner's instance dungeon, resets the cooldown time to 0. Uses: 2020. Su Miaoyu received the stone tablet and looked at it with a pleasantly surprised expression. Thank you, grandfather. Before the college entrance examination, are you confident in reaching level 25? Su Jungwei asked. No problem at all. Su Miaoyu showed a confident expression and raised the stone tablet in her hand. With this, not only level 25, but even level 28 is within reach. Oh, by the way, Su Jungwei said, I heard that you have a good relationship with a male classmate in your school and even shared the practice room with him. Is that true? Yes, Su Miaoyu admitted directly. These things are all transparent and can be easily verified. And it's not some shameful secret either. Very good. Su Jungwei nodded. That child, cough cough, has good background and talent, and is very strong. You should interact with him more. Yes, I will also give you a quota to bring someone into the family dungeon. What? Su Miaoyu almost doubted whether she had misheard. At a time like this, shouldn't her grandfather be warning her not to be too attached to romantic relationships and focus on leveling up? Su Jungwei smiled and said, What? Do you think I should remind you not to get too close to boys? Putting aside those groundless rumors, even if they are true, it doesn't matter much. By associating with the strong, you will see the brilliance of the strong world. By associating with the weak, you will be trapped in the helplessness of the weak world. Whether it's making friends or falling in love, don't choose someone whose level is much lower than yours. Because that will make you both frustrated and proud. The frustration comes from the fact that they have a low level of knowledge and understanding, and you have no common language with them. The pride comes from the fact that your level is higher than theirs, so you can easily solve their troubles. Su Miaoyu hesitated and said, But grandfather, although I have a good relationship with him, sharing the family resources with him, wouldn't that be inappropriate? It's fine. Su Jungwei shook his head. Thank you, grandfather. Su Miaoyu's face brightened. She was very clear, or so she thought, about Chen Yu's strength. He was someone who could enter a level 10 plus area and solo it on his first day after changing professions. If Chen Yu was willing to take her along for dungeon runs, wouldn't she be able to level up effortlessly? She didn't feel comfortable asking for a share of the rewards from public dungeons because it would be taking away from others. But if it was her family's dungeon, it would be different. Although Chen Yu would be the one taking her, he would also benefit from it. Inside the unsurpassable sacred ground. Chen Yu set an alarm clock to record the time so as not to miss the cooldown of the dungeon. Then, he began to frantically cultivate the rapid growth of the lotus seeds. When he got tired, he rested and recovered, and then continued to cultivate. During the cooldown period of the dungeon, he didn't have anything particularly important to do, so he used the time to accelerate the growth of the lotus seeds. For 3 consecutive days, without interruption, the tender shoots of the lotus heart grew to 10 centimeters. The cooldown of the Demon Whisperer's active skill was complete, and another level 100 demon boss became the victim. However, this demon was quite boring. Like a madman, it started attacking indiscriminately and was beaten to death by Xiaoyan as soon as it was summoned. On another note, there was some good news. The new primordial elf was about to be born. Under the world tree, Chen Yu looked up. A colorless and transparent fruit was about to fall. The branches of the world tree sway gently, and the fruits slowly fall from the branches. Chen Yu extends his hands and holds the fruits. What kind of a tribute is this? This fruit has almost no weight, and even lacks any texture. Although it seems like Chen Yu is holding it, in reality, it is floating in his hands. After a moment, the fruit cracks open. However, no little spirit emerges from it. Even the 2 fruit shells disappear without a trace. Where is my original spirit? Chen Yu is dumbfounded. Could there be something wrong? He quickly contacts the world tree to inquire about the reason. The primordial darkness shall not toy with its master. Come out now. The world tree's reproachful thoughts are conveyed. Hee, along with a playful laughter. An transparent human-shaped silhouette appears in midair. Then, various colors are outlined on the silhouette. After a few seconds, a mischievous little spirit wearing a black veil appears in front of Chen Yu. Master, so, you are the primordial dark spirit. Then, let's call you Xiaoan. Saying that, Chen Yu opens Xiaoan's attribute panel. Primordial dark spirit Xiaoan. Rank, 1 color mythical. Level, 50. Attributes, strength, 5,500. Agility, 5,500. Constitution, 5,500. Spirit, 11,000. Talents, dark elementalization. Enter an elementalized state, immune to all physical damage, immune to all dark damage, and self-dark damage increased by 500%. Passives, primordial dark spirit. Reduces the consumption of dark skills by 99% and increases their power by 100%. Skills, Silent Dark Domain, Forbidden Curse, Chaotic Dark Domain, Forbidden Curse, Eternal Exile, Forbidden Curse, Final Balance, Forbidden Curse. The power of the primordial dark spirit seems to be different from traditional dark attributes. She is not the opposite of light, but rather more ethereal. Representing the other side of the world that exists but cannot be seen. However, her abilities are even more anomalous than traditional darkness, making her difficult to defend against. Even she herself can enter a state without form, untouchable. Chen Yu believes that Xiaoan should not be the 4th among the original spirits. The 6th is more suitable for her. After giving birth to the dark spirit, Chen Yu enters the cycle of giving birth to lotus seeds and sleeping. With enough food prepared, even meals are taken within the unsurpassable sacred ground. 3 days later, the primordial water spirit is born. Primordial water spirit Xiao Miao. Rank, 1 color mythical. Level, 50. Attributes, strength, 5,500. Agility, 5,500. Constitution, 5,500. Spirit, 11,000. Talents, water elementalization. Enter an elementalized state, immune to all physical damage, immune to all water damage, and self-water damage increased by 500%. Passives, primordial water spirit. Reduces the consumption of water skills by 99% and increases their power by 100%. Skills, Frozen Domain, Forbidden Curse, World Devouring Torrent, Forbidden Curse, 1,000 Miles of Red Earth, Forbidden Curse, Dissolution of All Things, Forbidden Curse. Xiao Miao has waist-length ice blue hair and always wears a gentle smile on her face. She gives off the feeling of a gentle older sister. However, this original water spirit is the most aggressive among all the original spirits that have been born so far. In Chen Yu's impression, water-based abilities should focus on healing, support, control, and defense. But Xiao Miao's 4 forbidden spells are all extremely fierce damaging skills. The interval between the birth of an original spirit and the summoning of a demon happens to be 3 days. To celebrate Xiao Miao's birth, Chen Yu generously summoned a demon to provide an extra meal for the plant lives. The death of the demon boss restored Chen Yu's abyss magic to full power. As a result, another thorny spirit transformed and threw itself into the embrace of the abyss. The next day, Chen Yu didn't stay in the unsurpassable sacred ground. Because the instant's cooldown had refreshed, he could now withdraw his freely allocated attribute points and skill points. After a week, Chen Yu finally set foot in the outside world again. Just as he left the unsurpassable sacred ground, his phone started ringing incessantly. He opened his phone and saw that most of the messages were from Li Wei and Su Miaoyu. Bang bang bang. At that moment, the sound of knocking on the door came crazily, accompanied by Li Wei's voice. Lao Chen, you're inside. I heard your phone ringing. As soon as Chen Yu unlocked the door, Li Wei impatiently pushed it open and rushed in. You're still alive. You scared the hell out of me. Li Wei slapped Chen Yu's shoulder hard. When did you come back? Where have you been these past few days? You weren't in the dorm, and your phone had no signal. I went out to fight monsters, what else could I do? Chen Yu smiled. I didn't come back for a long time, so my phone ran out of battery. In reality, it was normal for professionals to be out of contact for a period of time due to various reasons. For example, during instances, not only could they not be reached on their phones, but they also couldn't be contacted through the friend panel. What about you? What level are you now? Chen Yu asked. I just leveled up yesterday, level 8. Only level 8. Chen Yu was surprised. Why are you leveling up so slowly? Don't you have a fixed team? Professionals with a fixed team usually level up faster. By now, almost 2 weeks had passed since the job change, and professionals with a fixed team should be at least level 10 or above. A more diligent player might have already reached level 12 or 13. A shadow flashed across Li Wei's face. Fixed team, they were just temporary teammates, and we've disbanded. These past few days, I've been leveling up mostly by myself. You, a shield warrior, leveling up alone. Chen Yu was astonished. Defense-oriented professions had low attack power and low efficiency in monster hunting, so leveling up alone was very difficult. It's not that I couldn't find a team, I just didn't want to. Li Wei ruffled his hair and said proudly, I've come to understand one thing. Only cattle and sheep gather in groups, while predators always walk alone. After these days of training, my solo skills have reached the pinnacle. The instance just refreshed. Let's go, let's do an instance together, and I'll show you my skills. I said we would level up together before, but we were disrupted by those idiots. From now on, the two of us predators will team up and not be bothered by those cowards and horses. Li Wei spoke with great confidence. Chen Yu fell silent. It was not difficult to imagine that Li Wei left the team and stopped forming teams in order to practice solo skills, all for the purpose of leveling up together with him. It should be noted that now, before the college entrance examination, it was the golden time for new professionals to level up. The results during this period could almost change a person's life. Having experienced the workplace in his previous life, Chen Yu had seen too many self-interested individuals. He deeply suspected that those who would sacrifice themselves for their brothers were just artistic images. However, Li Wei, through his actions, showed him that such people truly existed. After a moment, Chen Yu sighed. All right, the two of us predators will team up. Let's do an instance first. If someone treats me sincerely, I will treat them sincerely as well. Li Wei treated him like a true brother, sacrificing his own future for him. Now that Chen Yu had the ability, he would definitely ensure a bright future for Li Wei. Moreover, he had already reached the maximum level and had no need for experience, so teaming up with Li Wei to do instances wouldn't affect his own gains. Chen Yu and Li Wei left the dormitory and arrived at the entrance of the copy square. The class and name, the teacher in charge of the copy square asked. This year, Class 1, Chen Yu. Li Wei. The teacher entered the information into the computer for a query. After looking at their faces and confirming their identities, the teacher said, You have used up your free attempts. Now, entering the copy requires a maintenance fee of 1 gold coin per person. Which copy do you want to do? Apocalypse Survival, Li Wei said eagerly. Apocalypse Survival, where the monsters are sci-fi zombies, belongs to the same type as the zombie crisis in Dongfeng Town. Both of us want to do it. Chen Yu handed 6 gold coins to the teacher and looked at Li Wei with a half-smile. All of them. Okay. The teacher accepted the gold coins and handed 6 copy tickets to Chen Yu. Not 3 copies, right? Can we handle them all? Li Wei's face turned green. He was a shield warrior and lacked offensive capabilities. Just 1 zombie crisis would be enough for him to fight for half a day. 3 copies, including guarding the village against sea monsters, would really exhaust people. As for Chen Yu's combat power, at this moment, Li Wei didn't have high expectations. During this time, he had specifically studied planter and gained some understanding of related knowledge. He estimated that Chen Yu could have around 20 or 30 small tree spirits and 2 mature vine whips, which was already very good. In a real fight, the total DPS might be higher than his. But the early stage plant life of planter was very precious and couldn't be used up. So, the main force in fighting monsters still had to be him, the shield warrior. What are you afraid of? Don't you have the ability? Let's go. Chen Yu patted Li Wei's shoulder and walked into the copy square first. I'll sacrifice my life for you today. Li Wei gritted his teeth and followed. At the entrance of the copy teleportation gate, Chen Yu sent a team invitation to Li Wei. Li Wei immediately chose to accept. Hint: you have formed a temporary team with other professionals. As the initiator, you automatically become the team leader. Hint: the experience gained by the temporary team in the copy will be evenly distributed among the members, and the experience gained in the field will be allocated according to contribution. Hint: please decide the ownership of the dropped items. Leader allocation, need-based allocation, dice allocation, free for all. The decision cannot be changed. Free for all. Hint: the ownership of the dropped items has been decided as free for all. With the team formed, Chen Yu handed the copy tickets to the registration teacher guarding the copy teleportation gate. Starting with the most difficult one, Li Wei looked at the copy teleportation gate of guarding the village and felt a little scared. Are you afraid of this fierce beast? Chen Yu pulled Li Wei over, kicked him into the gate, and then stepped in himself. Copy name: guarding the village. Level restriction: less than or equal to level 50. Number of players: less than or equal to 8. Copy cooldown: 7 days. Hint: level adaptation completed. Number of players adapted. Copy cooldown completed. Entering the copy, please choose the difficulty: easy, normal, hard, nightmare. The real difficulty no longer exists, as it disappeared after Chen Yu perfectly cleared it last time. Then, nightmare. Hint: you have chosen nightmare difficulty. In the next moment, Chen Yu and Li Wei appeared in the Vanguard village. Wait, Li Wei looked frightened. What did I just hear? Did you choose nightmare difficulty? No, can you be more reliable? You can even choose wrong difficulty. I'm playing nightmare, Chen Yu said with a smile. What benefits can you get from playing on low difficulty? After speaking, he went directly to the old village chief to receive the mission and headed towards the city wall. Can you be more reliable? Nightmare is something we noobs can handle. Even a level 50 pro would struggle, right? Li Wei was at a loss. However, once they entered the instance, there was no difference between quitting and dying. Helplessly, he could only choose a temporary set of equipment and follow Chen Yu onto the city wall. The difference between this instance and the last time Chen Yu cleared it on the real difficulty was significant. In the real difficulty, the opening of the valley where Vanguard village was located was in the shape of an open, 8, wide on the outside and narrow on the inside, with a soil wall several hundred meters long. But in the nightmare instance, the terrain had clearly changed. The valley entrance had become gourd-shaped, with an extremely narrow opening and a city wall only tens of meters long. However, on the city wall of the nightmare difficulty, there were only 20 Vanguard village warriors. But compared to the real mode, the defense difficulty was still reduced countless times. With the sound of a mournful horn, feeble goblins began to appear in the distant white mist. Hey, Lao Chen, look at these little monsters, they seem weak, should we rush up and make some gains? Li Wei suggested. That way, even if the defense fails, the rewards will be higher. Defense fails, that's impossible. Chen Yu directly summoned hundreds of epic level plant lives. After spending a week in the unsurpassable sacred ground, the 4,500 seeds planted earlier had all matured and evolved into epic-level beings. What the hell? What are these things? Li Wei looked at the stiff, beautiful girls that suddenly appeared from all directions, completely bewildered. Ladies, it's time to eat. Chen Yu waved his hand forward. The plant lives received Chen Yu's command and immediately jumped off the city wall, rushing towards the feeble goblins with limps. In an instant, they covered the distance of several hundred meters. Before the group of goblin monsters could react, they were completely wiped out. After eliminating this group of goblins, the plant lives did not return, but instead blocked the spawning point in front of the white mist, making it impossible for any more monsters to come through. Just like last time, the man-eating flower was full of oil, and the thorny vine monster was also satisfied. The poor lily fairy could only watch from behind, occasionally picking up some leftovers. What the hell is this? The experience notifications kept ringing, leaving Li Wei dumbfounded. After a long while, he finally came back to his senses and incredulously asked Chen Yu, "Lao Chen, those girls, are they the plant lives you planted?" "That's right." Chen Yu nodded. "Wait a minute." Li Wei pointed at the group of plant lives crowded by the air wall. "I heard that the closer the plant lives are to human form, the higher their quality, like these. At least they're epic level, right?" "Yes, they're all epic level." Chen Yu smiled, not scared anymore. "All of them." Li Wei stared at Chen Yu with a resentful gaze, giving Chen Yu goosebumps. "I'm still struggling to level up by smashing monsters with my shield, and you've all become pros." Because he had specifically researched planters, Li Wei knew what the concept of epic-level plant lives meant. That was a combat power surpassing hidden classes of the same level. Several hundred mature epic-level plant lives. That's just too OP. Why fight monsters anymore? Let's just lie down and level up. Li Wei sat down against the city wall, happily staring at his experience bar. Nightmare copy. There are far fewer monsters than in the real copy. The first wave of attacks in the real difficulty has over 300 monsters. While in the nightmare difficulty, there are only 40 to 50. Half an hour later, the second wave of attacks arrives. Li Wei sticks his head out to see what kind of monsters are coming. In reality, Li Wei doesn't know that the second wave of attacks has arrived. His experience bar starts to rise, only then does he realize that the monsters have respawned. However, no matter how he looks, he can't see even half of a monster's figure. What he can see is only the waving vines and flowers in front of the white mist wall. "I say, Lao Chen," Li Wei says speechlessly, "can't you hold back a bit? There's no need to release so many epic-level monsters. A few epic-level ones with some rare-level ones can clear this copy. Don't easily reveal such strong cards." While Li Wei is happy for Chen Yu's achievements, he is also curious as to why Chen Yu has so many high-quality plant lives. But this kind of thing definitely involves Chen Yu's secret. Chen Yu is willing to show it to him, treating him like a good brother. Those who pry into other people's secrets are enemies, not brothers. And he is also worried that if Chen Yu's abnormal strength is coveted by someone with ulterior motives. That's why he reminds Chen Yu not to expose too much. "I have many cards up my sleeve." Chen Yu smiles and says, "These are just small things." He certainly knows what Li Wei is worried about. But the batch of plant lives released just now are not his trump cards at all, they are the lowest quality ones in his hand. Not to mention epic level, even if it's legendary level, it can be mass-produced as regular combat power. Chen Yu also knows the principle of being outstanding among others, but one cannot tie their hands and feet just to avoid being noticed. It's not advisable to give up eating because of choking. Properly showcasing one's talent will not only attract covetousness but also bring well-intentioned attention. Even if someone has designs on him, he is not afraid if they are weak in strength. He can just cast a few forbidden spells and wipe them out. If someone is too strong and forbidden spells don't work, then he can only ask him to confront the World Tree or the Abyssal Will. As long as you know it in your heart. Li Wei no longer dwells on this issue and enjoys the pleasure of skyrocketing experience points. He has never leveled up so comfortably before. When he teams up with others, he is the meat shield taking hits at the front and has to be ready to support his teammates at any time. When he is alone, it's even more difficult. Not only does he have to take hits, but he also has to find opportunities to counterattack. And now, it's needless to say how great it feels. He's gaining experience points even while lying down. Chen Yu turned off the notifications long ago because he found them annoying. But Li Wei can't bear to turn them off. He thinks that the dense notification sounds are the most wonderful music in the world. Late at night, Chen Yu and Li Wei leave the school's copy square. Almost all the time was spent guarding the village. The other 2 copies only took a few minutes. So satisfying. It's simply too satisfying. So this is what it feels like to be carried by a big shot. Li Wei smacks his lips, still wanting more. Every copy was cleared completely, and every copy received a perfect evaluation. After clearing the 3 copies, his level jumped from level 8 to level 18. Not only that, he also obtained a legendary level treasure chest and 2 epic level treasure chests. Originally, he wanted to give the treasure chests to Chen Yu, but Chen Yu didn't accept them. They returned to the dormitory and rested for the night. The next morning, Chen Yu took Li Wei to Dongfeng Town. Dongfeng Town has 8 copies, are we going to clear them all today? At the entrance of the copy center, Li Wei asks expectantly. Of course, we're clearing them all. Chen Yu nods. The 8 instances in Dongfeng Town are all easy and convenient to farm. Even without using forbidden spells, half a day is more than enough. Alright, Li Wei ran to the ticket office and confidently slapped down 200 gold coins to buy tickets for 2 people. Let's go. Which one should we start with? Of course, the closest one. The 2 entered the nearest instance hall near the entrance. This is the, after the catastrophe, instance. One of the 2 nightmare level instances in Dongfeng Town. Last time, Chen Yu solved this instance using the forbidden spell of the original Earth Spirit. This time, Li Wei was by his side, making it inconvenient to use forbidden spells. However, it's not a problem to rely solely on plant life to kill, just takes a bit more time. After entering the instance, Chen Yu released hundreds of epic level plant lives, mixed with legendary level ones. Sure enough, after more than half an hour, the instance was cleared. The evaluation was still the highest SSS level. Even with conventional means, the 8 instances in Dongfeng Town couldn't last more than 2 hours in Chen Yu's hands. Coming out of the center of the instance, Li Wei's head was buzzing. He stumbled and staggered, as if he were drunk. He was stunned by the dense killing prompts. I can't do it anymore, I need to go back and rest. What else can you do if you don't go back? The instances are all cleared, Chen Yu said with a smile. Classmate. At this moment, a girl dressed as a mage suddenly ran over, her face slightly red, and she charmingly said to Chen Yu. Can I talk to you for a moment? I have something to ask you. Sorry, Chen Yu was about to refuse, but he noticed the girl making a mouth shape. Teach me. Oh, right, Li Wei, I have something else to do, you go back first, Chen Yu said. Li Wei looked at Chen Yu, then at the innocent and lovely mage girl next to him, and immediately showed a, I understand, expression. Ha ha ha, sure, old Chen, you guys talk, I'll go first. After saying that, he quickly left without looking back, and even made a cheering gesture for Chen Yu. After Li Wei left, the girl led Chen Yu to a secluded corner. Speak, what's the matter? Chen Yu asked calmly. Classmate Chen. The girl lifted the sleeve of her mage robe, revealing the emblem of the painful church in her palm. Teacher Lu wants you to come over. I understand, Chen Yu nodded. After the girl finished speaking, she quickly left without accompanying Chen Yu. A few minutes later, Chen Yu arrived at the tavern where he had passed through the last time he entered the painful church. Just as he was passing through the kitchen and entering the backyard, he was stopped by 2 professionals. Sorry, sir, the backyard is not open to the public. Get lost. A chef who was cooking walked over and dispersed the 2, ignorant fools, is this an outsider? This is the boss's distinguished guest. As he spoke, the chef gave the 2 a signal with his eyes. The 2 trembled and quickly said, we apologize. Distinguished guest, please come in. One of them walked ahead and led the way, then opened the secret door under the courtyard wall for Chen Yu. Chen Yu walked through the corridor and entered the front hall of the painful church. Lu Peng was waiting in the front hall. Why did you want to see me in such a hurry? Chen Yu asked. With the cautious style of the painful church, if they dared to send someone to contact him on the street, there must be something important. Sir, Lu Peng said, as you instructed last time, if there are difficulties in the missions of other regions, they can come to seek your help. People from other regions have come. Chen Yu's eyes lit up. Where are they? Someone has come all the way to River Sun City to bring him money. He is the bishop of the neighboring city, and he just arrived this afternoon. He is now waiting for your audience, Lu Peng said. Let's go and meet him, Chen Yu said calmly. Yes, sir. Lu Peng led Chen Yu to the reception room and then left. A few minutes later, a young-looking female professional walked in. The woman had a pale complexion and was wearing a tattered blue tight-fitting suit, stained with blood. After entering, she respectfully bowed to Chen Yu. Sir, I am Zhuang Keixin, the bishop of the Church of Pain in Yucheng City. Chen Yu frowned. As the bishop responsible for a city, how did you end up like this? Sir, the woman's face looked bitter. I was attacked by members of the Church of Severance on the way and was lucky to escape with my life. The Church of Severance. Chen Yu looked at Lu Peng. What happened? Sir, Lu Peng replied, the Church of Severance is much stronger than our Church of Pain in the Cloud River province. They are a group of fanatics who are extremely hostile towards us. If our members are discovered by members of the Church of Severance, it will lead to endless pursuit. That's one of the reasons why we act cautiously. Moreover, recently, the Church of Severance has been like a group of mad dogs, exposing themselves and opposing us relentlessly. We don't know why. In River Sun City, Chen Yu's face darkened. No, I was intercepted in Yucheng City, Zhuang Keixin said. The opponent was a 5th-level warrior. Fortunately, my profession is an assassin, and I have stealth skills, which allowed me to escape from the pursuit. I see, Chen Yu nodded, not concerned. If the Church of Severance caused trouble in River Sun City, he would have to pay attention to it to avoid affecting his college entrance examination. But if they were in Yucheng City, it had nothing to do with him. Did you lose the ceremonial items? Chen Yu asked. They are still here. Zhuang Keixin took out a large box from her backpack and handed it to Chen Yu. Sir, these are 500 ceremonial items from our Yucheng City. She then took out a small box from thin air. This is our mission fund. Chen Yu threw the box containing the ceremonial items into the unsurpassable sacred ground and opened the small box to check. Inside were neatly arranged anonymous professional bank cards, each worth 100,000, totaling 300 cards. Your mission fund seems quite sufficient, Chen Yu said satisfied. Sir, we naturally have to provide the necessary expenses when seeking your assistance, Zhuang Keixin smiled. Not bad, you are considerate, Chen Yu glanced at Lu Peng. Cold sweat broke out on Lu Peng's back, cursing Zhuang Keixin for being meddlesome. If you have any difficulties with the funds, feel free to ask. Our River Sun City branch can gather around 10 million gold coins for you. Upon hearing this, Chen Yu was delighted. He didn't expect the River Sun City branch to be so wealthy. Great, bring it to me now. I happen to have something to do and need funds. He couldn't let go of Yuna Seaver's fur for nothing. Yes, sir. Lu Peng reluctantly took out a stack of cards from his backpack and handed them to Chen Yu. There were a surprising 120 cards in total. Good, you all have done well. Chen Yu couldn't help but smile. Next time I meet the Divine One, I will definitely commend your contributions. Thank you, sir. Lu Peng was overjoyed. Meeting the great demon, Zhuang Keixin's heart was instantly stirred. This person could actually directly meet the great demon. Moreover, from the tone, it seemed that it wasn't very difficult. Could it be true, as Lu Peng said, that this person had a close relationship with the great demon and was highly regarded by him? Otherwise, how could he casually mention the great demon and even speak highly of them? Even the legendary Pope would probably not dare to mention the great demon so casually, right? As for whether Chen Yu was deceiving them, Zhuang Keixin had no doubts. Being personally bestowed a medal by the great demon, there must be no problem with his identity. A person who truly believes in God would never joke about their own God or deceive others. We don't believe in God, so we don't have that feeling, but we can refer to Islam and Christianity. What are you standing there for? Lu Peng signaled to Zhuang Keixin with his eyes. Thank you, sir. Zhuang Keixin quickly bowed to Chen Yu. Neither of them could have imagined that what Chen Yu said about meeting Yuna Sievers was not a normal meeting, but meeting her clone during the college entrance examination. It can be seen that Yuna Sievers cares very much about her clone and does not want it to die. At that time, perhaps he could ask her for a little, hard work fee, to summon her clone over, and she probably wouldn't refuse. Okay, Chen Yu nodded, if there's nothing else, I'll leave. Sir, Zhuang Keixin called out. What is it? Chen Yu turned around. When I was in Yucheng City, I heard some news that the Church of Severance seems to have plans for this year's college entrance examination, just like us. Plans for the college entrance examination. Chen Yu frowned. Do you have any specific information? This year's college entrance examination is his job transfer task, and there is no room for error. If something big goes wrong, he will have to rely on the Abyss will to cover for him. It's better not to use this trump card if possible. Okay, I understand. Be careful yourselves. If you get any information from the Church of Severance, don't hesitate to contact me immediately. After speaking, Chen Yu got up and walked out. After Chen Yu left, Zhuang Keixin carefully considered her words and asked Lu Peng, Bishop Lu Peng, can this sir really? Of course, Lu Peng said firmly, the sir has shown his abyss power, which is the purest and highest level abyss power I have ever seen. At that time, facing the sir, I even had a feeling of facing a demon, no, facing the abyss. You know, there are demon profession practitioners among us humans. But no matter how high level the demon profession practitioners are, they cannot display such terrifying abyss power. Even true abyss demons are far inferior. I see. Zhuang Keixin couldn't contain her joy. To be able to establish a relationship with such a great person, this trip to River Sun City was not in vain. On the way back to the city from the Church of Pain, Chen Yu contemplated how he would handle the matter with the Church of Severance. Reporting it is definitely not possible. If the official personnel ask about the source of his information, what should he say? Should he say that he has become the leader of a cult and is listening to reports from his subordinates? That's ridiculous, isn't it? Moreover, even Zhuang Keixin herself couldn't explain the true situation, she only knew the other party's intentions were related to the college entrance examination. However, there is one thing that can be determined. It is definitely impossible for the Church of Severance to want to sabotage the college entrance examination. After all, the college entrance examination is a major event in the Soaring Dragon Empire, and the defense forces are extremely powerful. Each examination site is guarded by more than one taboo powerhouse. To target the college entrance examination, the Church of Pain's goal is to corrupt the examinees, while the Church of Severance's goal might be to kill the examinees. Under tight defense, the Church of Severance can only choose two ways to target the college entrance examination. First, like the Church of Pain, make a move from within the college entrance examination instance. Second, directly intercept and kill examinees who have not yet entered the examination site. The second method is not easy to execute. The examinees come from all over the country and are directly teleported to the examination site from the teleportation points in their own cities. Once they arrive at the examination site, they are immediately under the protection of taboo powerhouses and there is no way to make a move. So, the Church of Severance will probably use methods similar to the Church of Pain. What Lu Peng said, that the Church of Severance has been specifically targeting the Church of Pain recently, is evidence. After all, the probability of two opposing god clones appearing and directly fighting each other is the highest, and in the end, both sides may not be able to achieve their goals. If the Church of Severance also wants to summon god clones or something in the college entrance examination instance. Wouldn't that be double the fun? Returning to the River Sun City district, Chen Yu did not go back to his dormitory. Instead, he went to the treasure-gathering pavilion in the Professional Traders Exchange. Having just obtained a huge sum of 40 million, he had no intention of keeping it. He was definitely going to find the little girl and exchange it for the water of life. Last time, he ordered 2 units of the water of life, but this time he could order 8 units. Together, it would be just enough for the thorny spirit to advance to the mythical quality. Entering the treasure-gathering pavilion, Chen Yu habitually went to the counter where the round-faced girl usually played games. However, he found that she was not there, so he wandered around the display counter of the treasure-gathering pavilion for a while. After about half an hour, the round-faced girl still hadn't returned. So, Chen Yu stopped a staff member of the treasure gathering pavilion and asked, "Is your general manager here? Please inform her that I want to see her." "Sir, do you have an appointment?" the staff member politely asked. "An appointment? No," Chen Yu shook his head. "I'm sorry, sir. Without an appointment, we don't have the authority to inform the general manager," the staff member said. "All right," Chen Yu continued, "is young Luo here? I don't think I need to inform her to see her, right?" Young Luo, the supervisor, the staff member glanced at the counter where the round-faced girl usually played games, is not here at the moment. "If you really need to see her, I can help you make a phone call." "Ah, forget it, I can do it myself." "All right, sir. Do you need anything else?" "No, thank you. Then I wish you a pleasant shopping experience." The staff member showed a standard professional smile. Chen Yu returned to the counter where the round-faced girl usually played games, took out his phone, and found her number to dial. Although they exchanged phone numbers when they first met, he had never called her before. After a long time, the call was finally answered. As soon as the call connected, there was a suppressed gasping sound on the other end. "Hu, ha, hu, hee hee, sorry to disturb you." Chen Yu hesitated for a second and chose to hang up. A few seconds later, the phone rang. It was a call from the round-faced girl. Chen Yu answered, and the voice of the round-faced girl immediately came through. "Who, Mr. Chen, I'm here. Is there something you need from me?" Her voice was a bit breathless, as if she had just completed an important task in a highly tense and concentrated situation. "Ah, are you available now?" Chen Yu asked. Available," the round-faced girl said, "as long as you need me, I'm available anytime. I'm in the lobby on the first floor of the treasure gathering pavilion." "I want to see your general manager," Chen Yu said. "Okay, I'll be right there." The call ended. A few minutes later, the round-faced girl rushed out from the backstage. She was wearing a loose robe, her face flushed, and her forehead hair stuck together with sweat stains. "Sorry to bother you," Chen Yu sincerely said. "It's okay. You are more important than anything else." The round-faced girl tidied her hair and walked up to Chen Yu with a smile. As the round-faced girl approached, Chen Yu suddenly smelled a strange odor. It wasn't the seafood or osmanthus flower scent he had expected, but a very nauseating sour smell. It was like the smell of a dead mouse that had been left uncleaned in the house for several days during the scorching summer. Chen Yu discreetly took a small step back and asked, "Miss Yun, how often do you think it's good to take a shower?" "Shower? Of course, it's best to shower every day," the round-faced girl said matter-of-factly. "Sometimes I even shower several times a day. If Mr. Chen needs it, I can shower anytime, hehehehe." By asking this question, could it be, you finally have a response for me? The round-faced girl's eyes sparkled as she walked up to Chen Yu, wanting to grab his arm. Walk. You talk to our general manager first, and then we'll find a place where no one is around to talk privately." Cough, let's find your general manager first. Chen Yu's mouth twitched imperceptibly as he turned around, avoiding the round-faced girl. That smell was just too overpowering. The round-faced girl led the way, and Chen Yu kept a distance of more than 1 meter from her, even holding his breath. It wasn't until they entered the little Lolita's study that he finally breathed a sigh of relief. On the desk were several pieces of equipment that looked a bit old, and the little Lolita was diligently wiping them. "You're here, have a seat." Seeing Chen Yu come in, the little Lolita stood up, poured a cup of tea for Chen Yu, and placed it on the coffee table in front of the sofa. "There's something I want to tell you." "You have something to tell me. What is it?" Chen Yu's face lit up. "Did you find the time system material and the space system material?" "No, it's something else," the little Lolita said. "In a few days, I'll be leaving River Sun City." "Leaving River Sun City? Job transfer? Where are you going?" Chen Yu asked curiously. "The eastern capital city," the little Lolita replied. "But don't worry, Treasure Gathering Pavilion is a nationwide chain. If you find what you're looking for, you can receive it anywhere." "The eastern capital city? That's a promotion. Congratulations." Chen Yu congratulated the little Lolita with a fist bump. Soaring Dragon Empire's top 8 cities in the first sequence are known as the 2 capitals and the 6 cities. The 2 capitals are Yujing and Shangjing. The 6 cities are the 5 capitals of East, West, South, North, and Central, as well as the Magic City. Above the 2 capitals and the 6 cities, there is a transcendent level city that surpasses the entire Blue Star world. That is the central city of Soaring Dragon Empire, Kyoto City. Named directly with capital and city, its prosperity and grandeur are evident. Compared to the eastern capital city, River Sun City is undoubtedly an undeveloped village. Not to mention River Sun City, even the provincial capital Jufang City in Cloud River Province is far from being on the same level. Thanks for your kind words. A cold light flashed in the little Lolita's eyes. I came here this time to give you money. Chen Yu smiled and took out a card wallet to hand it to the little Lolita. Water of Life, a deposit of 8 units. 8 units. The little Lolita looked Chen Yu up and down. Did you rob the treasury of River Sun City? What's the Zhongyang treasury? I robbed the treasury of Kyoto. Chen Yu raised an eyebrow at the little Lolita. How about it? Are you scared? Arrogant. The little Lolita gave Chen Yu a disdainful look. If you have that ability, then buy the treasure gathering pavilion and let me work for you for free. Ha ha ha, if I have that ability, I'll buy the treasure gathering pavilion and make you my unpaid worker. Chen Yu laughed. Adding the previous amount, a total of 10 units. Can you deliver the goods? I can. The little Lolita took the box. But this quantity is a bit large, it might take some time to deliver all at once. That's okay, as long as you have the goods. I'm not in a hurry. The materials needed to advance the thorny spirit into mythical are not just lacking water of life, but also many other materials. Oh, by the way, this is for you. Chen Yu took out a large fish tank and placed it in front of the little Lolita. Inside was a koi fish that was over a foot long. The goldfish in my house are too small, only this size is enough. See if you can eat it and get used to it in advance. Quote. The little Lolita looked at the fish tank, her face speechless. Isn't a koi fish an ornamental fish? Can you eat it? However, after a moment, she seemed to understand something. Her face turned slightly red, and she angrily screamed, biting her tender lower lip. If you have nothing else, just get lost. Don't give me these weird things. After Chen Yu left, the round-faced little sister pushed the door open. Coincidentally, she saw the little Loli staring at the fish tank with a subtle expression. Oh, miss, did Mr. Chen give this to you? Young Luo curiously looked at the koi in the bathtub. It's quite beautiful. He said the size of this fish is just right, and he wants me to try if it's edible, to adapt in advance. The little Loli said expressionlessly. What's not edible about it? Although it's an ornamental fish and a bit small, it looks quite meaty. The round-faced little sister said, how about we cook it tonight and have sweet and sour fish? Oh, the little Loli raised her eyebrows, you're unusually serious. What do you mean by serious? Wait a minute, the size is just right. Edible or not, adapt. The round-faced little sister was instantly dumbfounded. Did I also have a day when I was completely oblivious to being run over by a car? Miss, you truly are impressive. The round-faced little sister sighed. Do you want to try it? Can you eat it? The little Loli smiled and pushed the fish tank towards the round-faced little sister. I'd better not. The round-faced little sister forced a smile. I'm not good at eating, but miss, you're skilled with your lips and tongue. Hee hee, I see you're eager for it, aren't you? The little Loli smirked, a hypocrite. Where, compared to Mrs. Unsurpassable Tea Art, I'm far behind. The round-faced little sister humbly gestured towards the teacups that Chen Yu had drunk from on the tea table. After chatting for a while, young Luo solemnly said, Miss, it seems that we won't have a peaceful time when we return to the eastern capital this time. Shouldn't we inform the young miss? It's just a test. Yun Biyu calmly said, they also know that it's not the time for a decisive battle yet. If we really fight, both sides will suffer. By the way, have you finished your task? I have not failed. Young Luo grinned from ear to ear, showing an excited smile, 2 level 5 dressed corpse puppets. 1 demonic boss, 1 hidden human profession, capable of killing a single level 6 professional. Then there's no problem. Yun Biyu nodded, go take a bath. Bath? Why? Young Luo was confused. You smell strongly of corpses. That's just how I am. If someone else got this close to you, they would have vomited from the stench long ago. River Sun High School. After Chen Yu returned to the dormitory, he locked the door and entered the unsurpassable sacred ground to cultivate the lotus seeds. He slept deeply, relying on the world tree, only after his mental and physical strength were completely exhausted. The next morning, Chen Yu didn't wake up naturally. Instead, he was awakened by crying. With sleepy eyes, he looked down and saw a fiery red little spirit crying loudly on his chest, tears the size of sesame seeds falling down. What's wrong? Chen Yu tenderly held Xiao Yan and wiped away her tears. Sniff, sniff, master, Xiao Feng bullied me. How did Xiao Feng bully you? Aren't you the one who usually bullies Xiao Feng? Chen Yu was greatly puzzled. Xiao Feng, she took mine, sob. Xiao Yan intermittently cried and explained, and it took Chen Yu a while to understand the cause and effect. The day before yesterday, when Chen Yu left the sacred space, he distributed candies and snacks to each little spirit. Among the candies given to Xiao Yan, there was one with her favorite flavor. Xiao Yan didn't want to eat it, so she secretly hid it. Last night, when she wanted to take it out and taste it, she found that the candy was missing. Xiao Yan searched the entire unsurpassable sacred ground and happened to find Xiao Feng devouring her candy. She was very angry and wanted to snatch it back, but she couldn't catch up with Xiao Feng at all. She could only follow behind Xiao Feng and watch helplessly as Xiao Feng slowly ate up her favorite candy that she couldn't bear to eat. Haha, what goes around comes around. Chen Yu laughed. Once it involves food, Xiao Feng's combat power immediately rises. In an instant, he transforms from a toy into a boss. The case of Xiao Yan's food being stolen has happened more than once, and the culprit is always Xiao Feng. Alright, stop crying, can't I give it back to you? Chen Yu hands a candy to Xiao Yan. Wow, master is so kind. Xiao Yan immediately becomes happy. However, she doesn't know how long she can protect her food this time. After comforting Xiao Yan, Chen Yu calls Xiao Miao and Xiao An over and takes them out of the unsurpassable sacred ground. These two little spirits have never seen the outside world since their birth, so it's a good opportunity to take them out for a stroll. As soon as they arrive in the outside world, Xiao An shows an expression full of anticipation. Oh, what a vast world, and the back of the world, the endless darkness. Master, can I go to the back of this world to take a look? You can, just don't get lost. Although Chen Yu doesn't know what exactly is at the back of the world, he generally doesn't refuse the requests of the little spirits. Master, you're so good. Mwah, Xiao An kisses Chen Yu's face fiercely and then instantly disappears. However, 1 second later, a light sound of paw. Xiao An, covered in injuries and with a weak aura, reappears next to Chen Yu and falls to the ground. Chen Yu is shocked and quickly picks up Xiao An, instantly returning to the unsurpassable sacred ground. The world tree also senses Xiao An's condition and releases countless pale green auras, converging towards Xiao An. After a few minutes, Xiao An gradually recovers. What happened? How did you get injured? Chen Yu asks with concern. This is the first time that a primal spirit nurtured by the world tree has been injured. Master, Xiao An looks frightened, the back of that world is too terrifying. Monsters everywhere. I can feel that there is a very terrifying, extremely terrifying, transcendent level monster. Did that monster hurt you? Chen Yu furrows his brows. Dare to hurt his little spirit. When he becomes strong enough, he must retaliate. No, Xiao An's condition gradually stabilizes, and she says with lingering fear, if it had attacked me, I wouldn't have been able to come back alive. No, it wouldn't even bother attacking me. I'm too insignificant for it to care. The one who attacked me was just an ordinary monster. In the back of the world, there are endless monsters like that. At that moment, I opened a dual domain, but I couldn't withstand its ordinary attack. If I weren't a part of darkness myself, immune to dark damage, I would have been killed by it. Upon hearing this, Chen Yu is shocked. An ordinary monster's casual attack caused such serious injuries to a primal dark spirit. Can you roughly guess its level? Chen Yu asks. Yes, based on the information I received when I was born, the monster that injured me is roughly equivalent to the peak of the 10th transformation. This, Chen Yu rubs his forehead. Xiao An, it seems that it's better for you not to go to places like the back of the world. Although he also wants to avenge Xiao An, he is helpless due to his lack of power. An existence at the peak of the 10th transformation, not to mention him, even the entire soaring dragon empire wouldn't want to provoke such a being for no reason. Moreover, according to Shaoan, this kind of monster is just an ordinary small fry. What kind of dangerous place is this so-called back of the world? Wait, Shaoan, is it possible for those monsters to suddenly appear in the front of the world? Since Shaoan has the ability to travel between both sides of the world, is it possible for other monsters to have the same ability? If 10 peak level monsters appear in the front of the world, not too many, just a few, going crazy would be enough to destroy more than half of the soaring dragon empire. No, Master, Shaoan said, I am special. Besides the primordial darkness or similar existences, no other beings can easily transmigrate between the two sides of the world. Master, take a look. Shaoan reached out her hand, and a sphere the size of a soccer ball appeared in front of her. If this is the world, then the front of the world where you are is the surface of this ball. And the back of the world is the inside of the sphere. The world is closed, and the front and back never intersect. Unless what? Chen Yu asked. The world is destroyed. Shaoan pointed her finger. The sphere suddenly exploded into pieces and then disappeared. That's good, Chen Yu breathed a sigh of relief. Although he was still a novice practitioner who hadn't reached the first transformation, worrying about monsters on the back of the world was a bit unnecessary. But as long as one is a person and discovers that terrifying world, it is inevitable to lose sleep over it. But, Master, Shaoan said with some concern, the monster I saw before was very strong, and it kept getting stronger and faster. No matter how strong it is, as long as it doesn't affect the front of the world, it has nothing to do with us, Chen Yu said. Just you, before you have the ability to defeat that monster, just don't enter the back of the world. How can I possibly defeat that monster? It's so strong. Shaoan made a large circle in the air with her hands, indicating a significant size. Even Lady Mother might not be able to defeat it. Your Lady Mother is still young now. When she grows up, she will be able to defeat it. Chen Yu comforted Shaoan by patting her head. Although the world tree was already in a mature state, its size was still very small, lacking the accumulation of years and the power. Moreover, even the creation of its own world has not yet begun. It can be said that it is just a newcomer in the world tree. No. That's not what I meant. Shaoan quickly explained. I mean, our essence is not as good as its. Our essence is not as good as its. Chen Yu's face turned serious. The world tree is a supreme level existence. Its essence is even higher than that of the world tree. That monster, could it also be unsurpassable level? Seemingly understanding what Chen Yu was thinking, Shaoan continued, I can vaguely sense that its hidden essence has not reached the unsurpassable level. Even its existing qualities have not reached the supreme level. But its growth rate is very fast. If it continues to grow like this, it is likely to activate that trace of essence and become a strong presence in the supreme level. Someday, the world will be unable to contain it. What do you mean? Chen Yu asked, is it possible for it to enter the front of the world? No, although it is strong, it is not the primordial darkness and cannot enter the front of the world. Shaoan said. But, it has the potential to destroy the entire world. Master, do you know what role the back of the world plays for the world? It supports the existence of the front of the world. Just like a ball, the surface of the ball is just a thin piece of paper. With the support of the back, the world is complete, with constant rules, laws, matter, and energy. If the inside expands excessively, the ball will explode. Chen Yu frowned. It won't explode, but it will become unbalanced. The back will expand infinitely, and the front will be infinitely diluted, Shaoan said. At that time, all the rules and laws will become chaotic and lose their effect. All the energy and matter will become silent, and the world will enter a state of death. My skill, chaotic dark domain, exists to mimic this state. When will it break through this ball? Chen Yu asked eagerly. If this time is not long, he must plan ahead. This, Shaoan appeared somewhat confused. Probably, it would take many years. How many years is many years? Chen Yu's face darkened. 10 years. 100 years. 1,000 years. No, that's impossible, not that fast, Shaoan said. At the current rate, unless something unexpected happens, it would take over 1 billion years. 1 billion years. Chen Yu's face twitched. Sorry for the interruption, please continue, develop well, and take your time. You don't need to worry, just rest well. Be careful in the future, don't casually enter the back of the world. After saying that, Shaoan was placed directly on the world tree, and then exited the unsurpassable sacred ground. As the cornerstone of the world, the primordial elves sometimes have similar thoughts to the existence of creator gods. A billion years, for them, indeed had a sense of urgency. One could even say that this world had already entered its countdown to extinction. But how many years has Chen Yu lived now? Does he really need to fear a supreme-level monster after a billion years? At that time, he might be able to slap the other party to death with a single palm. Moreover, even if this world were to be destroyed, he wouldn't worry about finding a place to go. The world tree, abyss, and even other worlds, where couldn't he go? Furthermore, by that time, who knows how much the unsurpassable sacred ground would have expanded, becoming a world in itself. In the school cafeteria, Chen Yu ordered a heart-shaped breakfast, as well as desserts and drinks for two. Xiao Miao squatted next to the tray, eating with him. It was clear that she wasn't very interested in the food. She held a grain of rice and accompanied Chen Yu from the beginning to the end of the meal. After finishing the meal and just leaving the cafeteria, Chen Yu's friend panel suddenly kept receiving message notifications. Chen Yu opened the friend panel and found that it was filled with messages from Su Miaoyu. Su Miaoyu, are you there? Su Miaoyu, where are you? Su Miaoyu, are you busy lately? Why aren't you answering the phone? Chen Yu, what's the matter? Su Miaoyu was obviously guarding the friend panel and immediately replied when she saw Chen Yu speak. Su Miaoyu, are you running dungeons? Chen Yu, not running, all the dungeons are on cooldown. Su Miaoyu, so fast. Did you finish both the school and Dongfeng town dungeons? Chen Yu, yes. Su Miaoyu, there are 2 private dungeons in my family. If you're interested, how about we go together? Chen Yu, can I enter the dungeons in your family? Are there any additional conditions? Su Miaoyu, yes, I have the authority to bring people in. As for the additional condition, you have to bring me along, no soloing. Chen Yu, okay, where are they? I'll come over right away. Other people's dungeons shouldn't be left untouched. Although he didn't currently need experience points, skill points and attribute points were good things. Su Miaoyu, I'm in the school dormitory. I just finished running the school dungeon yesterday. How about you wait for me at the school gate? Chen Yu, alright, it has to be said that this is the advantage of having a backing. Being able to obtain some resources that ordinary people don't have. Su Miaoyu's family has only 2 private dungeons, but the Su family can also exchange usage quotas with other forces that have private dungeons. In this back and forth, these newcomers from the major forces have a lot more leveling resources than ordinary newcomers. Even the novice professionals from poorer families can't afford to buy dungeon tickets and can only grind in the wilderness, enduring the meager experience points from the monsters. It can only be said that no matter which world it is, there is no absolute fairness. Being reborn is a big question. At the school gate, Chen Yu waited for about 10 minutes, and Su Miaoyu ran over from the direction of the dormitory building. She was wearing a light blue vintage outfit, with her long hair tied up in a ponytail, exuding a heroic aura, reminiscent of ancient female warriors. You didn't bring your teammates? Chen Yu asked in surprise. Su Miaoyu brushed the disheveled hair from her forehead caused by running, and smiled. After becoming familiar with my skills and combat style recently, I've been soloing. My profession itself is more suitable for solo combat. Just then, Su Miaoyu's car arrived at the school gate. Let's go, we can talk while walking. Su Miaoyu took Chen Yu and they got into her private car. The bodyguards trio had changed. From a second transformation mage and a first transformation warrior healer, they became a combination of a second transformation mage and a shield healer. About half an hour later, the car entered a mansion. From the outside, it covered an area of at least 2 square kilometers. Although land speculation was not popular in this world, having such a large estate in a modern city showed the influence of the Su family in Zhongyang. The scenery inside the estate was beautiful, with artificial mountains, ponds, precious trees, and lush green grass. The entrance to the instance portal was located within the Su family's estate. After getting off the car, Su Miaoyu led Chen Yu through a row of villas and courtyards, arriving at a separate hall that was not connected to any other buildings. Miss. At the window of the hall, a middle-aged man who appeared to be in his 50s or 60s stood up and bowed to Su Miaoyu, then opened the door to the hall. Su Miaoyu and Chen Yu walked in. Coincidentally, a team of 6 people walked out from inside and came face to face with Su Miaoyu. Wait! Walking at the front, a young man carrying a bow suddenly shouted. What's the matter? Su Miaoyu asked coldly. This person, the archer pointed at Chen Yu, isn't from our Su family, right? Su Miaoyu, you have a lot of nerve. Who gave you the authority to bring an outsider to use the family's precious resources? Chen Yu frowned slightly. No one likes to be pointed at. However, before Chen Yu could speak, Su Miaoyu had already taken action. Who gave me the authority? Su Miaoyu sneered and placed her hand on the hilt of her sword. Of course, it's strength. Swish, a cold light flashed, and Su Miaoyu appeared beside the archer. His originally stylish hair was directly shaved off, leaving a neat buzz cut. Fine black hair fell down one after another. Such fast speed, Chen Yu secretly praised. Su Miaoyu's move should have been aided by her profession's passive skill, sword drawing technique. Even in a naked state, she displayed an agility of nearly 400 points. It should be noted that Su Miaoyu had evenly distributed her attribute points, and her actual agility did not exceed 50 points. Once her level and attributes increased slightly, the hidden profession immediately opened up a huge gap compared to ordinary professions. You, how dare you? The archer's face was filled with fear as he touched his head. He trembled all over, his speech slurred, and a pale yellow liquid dripped from his pants. Worthless. Su Miaoyu sneered, sheathed her sword, and said, "Get lost. Remember this." The archer glared at Su Miaoyu with resentment, then quickly fled. The remaining 5 people did not follow, but instead greeted Su Miaoyu one after another. Miss, your strength is impressive, I admire you. Miss, please, Su Miaohong's actions were his own, it has nothing to do with us, please don't blame us. Su Miaoyu nodded lightly and walked towards the hall. The 5 of them finally left, feeling relieved. Tisk, Miss Su is quite powerful. Chen Yu clicked his tongue. That person just now is my cousin, who transferred at the same time as us, Su Miaoyu explained. But he is just an ordinary profession with poor talent. And he is timid, with poor combat abilities. He can't fully unleash his strength when facing monsters. Such a person naturally won't receive much care from the family, only receiving treatment similar to other family members. But because he is from the direct line, while I am from the collateral line, he has always resented me, thinking that I stole his resources. He likes to pick on me for no reason, but he is also timid. A little intimidation and he won't even dare to make a sound. Your family divides between direct line and collateral line? Chen Yu curiously asked, unconsciously recalling the palace dramas and cultivation novels he had read in his previous life. The rise of a collateral line member who surpasses the direct line members of their family usually starts with being looked down upon. Yes, there is a division, but it's not that clear-cut, Su Miaoyu smiled. After transferring, talent and strength still speak for themselves. Why do they call me Miss Su? It's because I have a hidden profession. Within the entire Su family, within the first 3 generations, I am bound to be the one with the highest achievements. Impressive. Chen Yu gave a thumbs up. You're much more impressive than me. Indeed, Su Miaoyu was much stronger than him. After all, within the first 4 generations, there was a possibility that someone could surpass her in the end. While in Chen Yu's family, even after counting 18 generations of ancestors, they couldn't find a single person who could match him. It would be great if you were as impressive as me. Su Miaoyu glanced at Chen Yu with a hint of sarcasm. As the owner of the legendary level plant life, she could easily reach the 6th transformation, so why was he pretending to be a newbie here? Let's get to work. Su Miaoyu sent a team invitation to Chen Yu. Wait, I'll do it. Chen Yu declined Su Miaoyu's invitation and sent his own. Su Miaoyu looked at Chen Yu strangely and chose to accept. I already told you about the dungeon content in the car, and I gave you the monster attribute information. What difficulty level do you think we can handle? Su Miaoyu asked. I can solo normal difficulty, but it will take some time. With you, it shouldn't be a problem to tackle hard difficulty, right? Of course, no problem. Chen Yu grinned. Let's go. With that, Chen Yu walked directly into the dungeon portal. Dungeon name: Underground Mine. Level restriction: Level 50 or below. Party size restriction: 6 people or below. Dungeon cooldown: 7 days. Reminder: level matching completed. Party size matching completed. Dungeon cooldown completed. Entering the dungeon, please select the difficulty: easy, normal, hard, nightmare. Nightmare. After selecting the difficulty, Chen Yu and Su Miaoyu were instantly transported into the dungeon. The entire dungeon was a deep mine. There was only one torch on the mine wall, emitting a dim yellow light from a distance. From the depths of the dark tunnel, occasional squeaking sounds could be heard, resembling rats or bats. Am I seeing this right? You chose nightmare difficulty, Su Miaoyu asked in astonishment. Are you sure you can handle it? Of course, Chen Yu said confidently. Are you sure? Su Miaoyu seemed a bit uneasy. It should be noted that the difference in difficulty levels between dungeons is not linear, but progresses slowly. If normal difficulty is 1, then hard difficulty is 3, and nightmare difficulty jumps straight to 10. Of course, the rewards also increase with the difficulty. I'm sure, Chen Yu assured her. I'm a professional at dungeon runs. Then, shall we begin? Su Miaoyu said. How should we proceed? I'll follow your lead. Just attack however you want. With that, Chen Yu released dozens of plant creatures. The legendary level Thorny Spirit led the way, charging directly into the depths of the mine. This dungeon only had one path, and with so many fighters, they were more than enough. Before long, the prompts for gaining experience began to sound continuously. Su Miaoyu stood still, motionless for a long time. She realized that she had underestimated Chen Yu. Every time she thought she understood a bit of Chen Yu's strength, Chen Yu would always come up with something even more shocking. Dozens of plant lives that were close to being perfected beings. What concept is this? One legendary level plant life can guarantee a promotion to the 6th transformation. With so many legendary levels, is this going to guarantee a forbidden promotion? Why are you standing there? Go pick up the equipment, we'll split the profits. Chen Yu said. Oh, okay. Su Miaoyu snapped back to reality and quickly followed the trajectory of the attacking plants. Wait, where are the monster corpses? Along the way, Su Miaoyu only saw drops, not a single monster corpse, which felt very strange. They probably turned into plant fertilizer. Look, isn't there a bit left over? Chen Yu pointed to a dark corner of the wall. There was a bit of crushed bone residue there. Did your plant lives eat them? Su Miaoyu suddenly got goosebumps. It's hard to imagine that a group of beautiful women like Flowers and Jade would actually be such bone-crushing and marrow-sucking existences. Eat. That sounds really harsh, Chen Yu said. That's called turning into spring mud to protect the flowers. Anyway, when we leave later, the instance will be refreshed, so we might as well make use of the waste. Ha! Su Miaoyu couldn't help but chuckle. What a twisted reasoning. The two continued forward. Along the way, Su Miaoyu felt her hands getting sore from picking up drops. She had heard that in order to save time and get a high evaluation in nightmare-level instances, some monsters on side paths were not to be fought if possible. The increase in the final evaluation of the instance from killing a few more small monsters was much higher than the benefits. But Chen Yu's plants were clearing out even the monsters hidden in the corners, making sure not to miss a single one. After a few minutes of progress, Su Miaoyu and Chen Yu finally caught up with the steadily advancing Thornvine Fiends. They were able to catch up not because the Thornvine Fiends were slow at killing monsters, but because there were fewer of them on this outing. Without too many companions to compete with, they could leisurely absorb nutrients. Su Miaoyu watched as a few Thornvine Fiends instantly tore a small monster into pieces and then sucked it dry bit by bit. She couldn't help but shiver and discreetly hide behind Chen Yu. After clearing out a group of monsters, the Thornvine Fiends left, and only then did she dare to approach and pick up the drops. You're really fast at clearing the map, Su Miaoyu sighed. A while ago, there was a madman in Dongfeng Town who cleared a nightmare-level instance in 1 minute, causing quite a stir. But I heard that person was a spendthrift and used high-level consumables in a beginner instance. I feel like if you go all out, you definitely won't be much slower than that person. Upon hearing this, Chen Yu's face looked strange. Clearing a nightmare-level instance in 1 minute, wasn't that him? However, he didn't use any consumables. He used the forbidden spell of the Earth Elemental Spirit. Perhaps, I wonder if it's possible to achieve such results without using consumables. Chen Yu asked hesitantly. Absolutely impossible, Su Miaoyu said firmly, at least beginner players definitely can't do it. After the natural disaster, the instance is a large area. It takes more than 10 minutes to run straight to the boss, not to mention the time to kill monsters. To be honest, that person is really extravagant. For someone of that level, buying consumables directly would be enough for the instance, right? Why use them to set a record? They didn't even leave their name after setting the record. At this moment, Su Miaoyu was unaware of the fact that Chen Yu was the record holder for the Dongfang Town instance. Although Su Zhengwei found information about Chen Yu, he played a trick and didn't directly tell Su Miaoyu. Maybe it's because they don't want to be famous. Chen Yu smiled. Perhaps. Su Miaoyu sighed and said with envy, those transcendent level second-generation individuals have different ideas from us ordinary people. What we consider to be priceless treasures, they might just see them as disposable consumables. But still, it's heartbreaking to think about it. Those are at least rank 5 peak damage consumables. They're used so casually, and they use 8 of them at once. What a spendthrift, such a spendthrift, Su Miaoyu lamented. Chen Yu, am I the second-generation individual they're talking about? 10 minutes later, the plant creatures reached the end of the mine. At the end of the mine was a hollow space about a few acres in size and 10 meters high. Inside, there was only one boss, accompanied by several elite monsters and about 10 small monsters. The instance boss was a humanoid creature over 2 meters tall with long ears but no eyes. Cave Dweller Chieftain, level 45 boss. Su Miaoyu's expression suddenly became serious. Be careful, this is an agile-type powerful boss with attribute bonuses in the underground environment. It will also go berserk and greatly increase its attributes when it reaches half health. You attack with vine whips, right? You can use them to restrict its speed, and then... Before Su Miaoyu could finish her sentence, she saw a group of plant creatures rushing forward like wolves. Vine whips with sharp thorns flew through the air, creating a sharp sound of breaking through the air. A few seconds later, killed level 45 boss Cave Dweller Chieftain, experience points plus 130,000. What did you just say? Chen Yu turned to Su Miaoyu. Su Miaoyu's eyelids twitched. Nothing, it's nothing. She knew that Chen Yu's plant creatures were strong, but she didn't expect them to be this strong. That was the instance boss. How could they perform almost the same as the small monsters under these plant creatures? Thinking back to when she faced a level 15 boss in the easy difficulty, and how she barely survived, Su Miaoyu couldn't help but feel discouraged. Why is the gap between people so big? Is it done? Let's move on quickly. Chen Yu walked forward, preparing to pick up the treasure chest dropped by the boss. However, at that moment, the ground suddenly shook violently. Then, there was a loud rumble. The stone wall behind the hollow space cracked open. A huge black spider about 5 to 6 meters long crawled out of the crack. Around the giant spider, there were 4 medium-sized spiders over 2 meters long. Following them were many half-meter-long small spiders, densely packed like a tide, instantly filling the entire hollow space. Roughly counting, there were no less than 500 small spiders. What's going on? Chen Yu looked at Su Miaoyu in confusion. The instance information Su Miaoyu explained to him earlier didn't mention these monsters in the mine. I don't know either. Su Miaoyu was dumbfounded. Chapter 71. Dungeon Spider Queen, level 50 boss. Dungeon Spider Queen's Guard, level 50 elite. Dungeon Spider, level 30 minion. Is this dungeon yours? Don't you guys know what monsters are inside? Chen Yu was speechless. Perhaps, some kind of hidden mechanism was triggered, and then temporary hidden bosses were spawned. Su Miaoyu uncertainly said. Dungeons and the wilderness are the same, both have hidden mechanisms. Triggering this hidden mechanism will spawn hidden bosses. Mostly related to clearing time, boss killing speed, and other conditions. But, our Su family has never triggered such hidden mechanisms when running dungeons. I see. Chen Yu nodded. Previously, when grinding monsters in the wilderness, Xiaoyan triggered many hidden mechanisms with forbidden curses, wiping out groups of bosses. It's not surprising for dungeons to have hidden bosses. Oh, by the way, Su Miaoyu said again, I heard someone leak the hidden boss mechanism in the Black Wind Fort dungeon in Dongfeng Town. Black Wind Fort also has hidden bosses. Chen Yu suddenly became interested. He had run the Black Wind Fort dungeon twice, both times achieving the highest rating, but he hadn't encountered any additional monsters. Yes, Su Miaoyu nodded. In the final boss battle of the Black Wind Fort dungeon, from the start of the fight to killing the dungeon boss Black Wind Fort second in command, if it takes less than a minute, a hidden boss, Black Wind Fort leader will spawn. However, it's almost impossible for a team below level 50 to kill the Black Wind Fort second in command within a minute. So, that thing is actually a hidden boss. Chen Yu's mouth twitched, remembering the bandit leader with a big belly who shouted, "Second brother." In that case, he might have already encountered many hidden bosses in various dungeons, but he just didn't know they were hidden bosses. For example, this time, if he hadn't read the dungeon guide beforehand and knew that there were no spider monsters in the dungeon, he wouldn't have found the appearance of spider monsters strange at all. Instead, he would have thought they were just regular bosses in the dungeon that needed to be defeated to clear it. With so many monsters, should we retreat to the mine and fight? Su Miaoyu looked at the terrifying spiders all around and couldn't help feeling a bit scared. No need, just watch. Chen Yu pulled Su Miaoyu back into the mine and then gave the order to attack the plant life. Zhou Bowen was right, Planter was an elegant commander, and engaging in close combat with enemies would be beneath him. Crack! A vine whip fiercely struck a small spider. The small spider instantly burst open, and its sticky green blood splattered several meters away. The plant life took the initiative and angered the spider army. Led by the dungeon spider queen, the small spiders rushed towards the dozens of plant life. However, under the vine whip, the small spiders were like toy water balloons, bursting with a single strike. 2 minutes later, as the dungeon spider queen's massive rear end burst, the dungeon entered the settlement phase. Dungeon settlement. Dungeon difficulty. Nightmare. Dungeon completion. 100%. Dungeon exploration. 300%. Dungeon time. 16 minutes and 05 seconds. Overall evaluation. SSS. Profit settlement. Gold coins plus 500, experience points plus 120,000, free attribute points plus 10, skill points plus 2, legendary level instance treasure chest plus 1. Hint. Instance settlement completed. You have 10 minutes of rest time, or you can choose to exit the instance immediately. Oh my god! Su Miaoyu exclaimed. What's wrong? Why are you so surprised? Chen Yu asked, puzzled. The highest level. You actually achieved the highest level evaluation. Do you know what? I obtained a legendary level instance treasure chest. My goodness. This is unbelievable, Su Miaoyu said incredulously. Don't make a big deal out of it, what's so surprising? Isn't it normal? Chen Yu suddenly felt that Su Miaoyu's knowledge was not as rich as he thought. At least, when he was with Li Wei wasn't as exaggerated as her. Normal. Su Miaoyu's emotions were stirred. Do you know how rare it is to achieve the highest evaluation in a nightmare level beginner instance under normal circumstances? There are only a few people in our entire Soaring Dragon Empire who can do it. Not to mention the highest evaluation, even achieving an S-level evaluation is very difficult. Do you know what an S-level or higher evaluation means? It means free attribute points. Do you not understand how precious extra free attribute points are? If I had the ability to consistently achieve the highest evaluation, I would definitely accumulate a high number of attribute points during the beginner phase before considering a job change. Chen Yu didn't dare to agree with Su Miaoyu's thoughts. He had 2 sets of equipment, plus his fundamental magic, and even his lowest attribute was over 2,000. A few dozen free attribute points didn't really catch his attention. After all, the time interval between instances was too long, and it would take a long time to accumulate free attribute points through instance grinding to see any results. If beginner instances could grant free attribute points, then higher level instances definitely could as well. Why stick to grinding instances below level 50? Of course, only Chen Yu would have such thoughts. Because he was confident in achieving a high evaluation in any instance. For someone else, achieving an SSS level evaluation in a beginner instance might not even be possible when faced with the sudden increase in difficulty in the first job change instance. Don't the difficulty of job change tasks increase over time? Aren't you afraid that the time will be too long and the task difficulty will become so terrifying that it can't be completed? Chen Yu asked. Even if the difficulty of job change tasks increases over time, it definitely won't keep up with how quickly I become stronger. Su Miaoyu's gaze revealed a longing. Who knows, after accumulating for 2 or 3 years, I might be able to challenge those other hell-level job change tasks. Chen Yu. So, your goal in accumulating attributes is to challenge hell-level job change tasks. Well, that's fine then. After tidying up the drops on the ground, Chen Yu and Su Miaoyu exited the instance. When Chen Yu was about to switch to another instance, Su Miaoyu stopped him. Let's continue grinding the underground mine. Isn't it on cooldown? How can we continue grinding? Chen Yu asked curiously. Su Miaoyu smiled mysteriously and handed Chen Yu a small stone piece that was less than the size of a palm. Chen Yu took the stone piece and looked at its attributes. Beginner instance cooldown symbol. Quality. Rare. Effect. Use on a beginner instance, and the cooldown time will be reset. Uses. 2020. Seeing the effect of the cooldown symbol, Chen Yu couldn't help but feel amazed. The power of a large family is truly different. Before this, he had never heard of such a thing. Now, he somewhat understood what Su Miaoyu had said before. With one cooldown symbol, he could run the dungeon 20 times, which meant he would gain 200 free attribute points and 40 skill points. If he had more cooldown symbols, he could indeed accumulate a large number of attributes and easily dominate. Thinking of this, Chen Yu immediately opened the friend panel and contacted the little girl. Chen Yu, are you there? After about a minute, the little girl, Yun Beiyu, replied to Chen Yu. Yun Beiyu. Yes, what's up? Don't tell me you've obtained millions of gold coins again. Although the supply of life water is stable, it is still limited. Chen Yu. It's not about life water. It's about this novice dungeon cooldown symbol. Yun Beiyu. Chen Yu. How much does your treasure gathering pavilion sell this kind of thing for? I want to buy a batch. Chen Yu planned that if the treasure gathering pavilion had it for sale, he would buy in bulk and convert all his funds into cooldown symbols, then go crazy grinding in a high-yield dungeon. Yun Beiyu, what are you thinking? Would the treasure gathering pavilion even sell something like this? And you want to buy a batch? Chen Yu, you don't sell it. Then do you know where there are a large number of cooldown symbols? Yun Beiyu, if there are a large number, the treasury of the Soaring Dragon Empire should have them. You have great abilities, so you can try to get your hands on them. Chen Yu, Yun Beiyu, you really have your ways. This kind of thing, when obtained by ordinary forces, is treated as a family heirloom and kept hidden. And you want a large quantity. Chen Yu, can you help me keep an eye out? If there is anywhere selling or auctioning them, let me know. I don't need novice level ones, I want ones above that. Yun Beiyu, from what I know, cooldown symbols are rarely sold or auctioned. Even if they are, it's usually through bartering. The novice level ones you have are already extremely valuable. Chen Yu, thank you, that's all. Indeed, this thing is something ordinary people would never come into contact with in their lifetime. Even some ordinary professionals would never know that there are items like cooldown symbols in existence. After closing the friend panel, Chen Yu used a cooldown symbol in the mine dungeon. The cooldown time of the dungeon was reset to 0. And the usage count of the cooldown symbol became 19/20. After using it, Chen Yu returned the cooldown symbol to Su Miaoyu. After Su Miaoyu's cooldown refreshed, the two of them entered the nightmare level underground mine again. This time, Chen Yu didn't even have the interest to follow and watch, he just waited in place. He released nearly 100 thorn vine demons, and each time a wave of monsters was defeated, the thorn vine demons would bring back the dropped items. Su Miaoyu was also happy with this arrangement. Mainly because the environment in the underground mine was too poor. Fighting monsters was unavoidable, they had to do it. But now was the time for power leveling, why not just lie down and level up? The two of them sat at the entrance of the dungeon, resting. Chen Yu held Xiao Miao in his hand and fed her snacks. Su Miaoyu felt that the atmosphere was a bit awkward, so she spoke up to find a topic. By the way, Chen Yu, the college entrance examination is coming soon. Which university are you aiming for? Soaring Dragon University, Chen Yu replied without hesitation. Soaring Dragon University is undoubtedly the best university in the entire Soaring Dragon Empire. It is also the leader in terms of the strength of the academic factions in the Soaring Dragon Empire. It possesses countless precious resources. Not to mention anything else, just talking about dungeons. Rumors say that Soaring Dragon University has dozens of dungeons, and all dungeons from level 0 to level 4 are free for students. What kind of concept is this? Take a look at River Sun City and you'll know. River Sun City doesn't have any rank 2 or higher level instances. Players above level 101 who want to level up can only endure the meager experience gains from outdoor monsters. On the other hand, players from Soaring Dragon University have free instances to farm until the 4th rank. Soaring Dragon University. Su Miaoyu smiled and said, "My goal is the same as yours." "That's great," Chen Yu nodded. "I hope we can still be classmates then." "Definitely." Su Miaoyu's eyes lit up with fighting spirit. Originally, she didn't think she had much hope of getting into Soaring Dragon University. But now that she has attached herself to Chen Yu's thigh and is able to consistently achieve the highest rating in nightmare instances. The instance cooldown token has 20 uses, which means she can gain an extra 100 attribute points and 20 skill points for free. Coupled with the high experience gained from instance monsters and the instance settlement, reaching Ascension level 30 or even close to level 40 is definitely not a problem. With this kind of strength, getting into Soaring Dragon University is basically not a problem. "Congratulations then," Chen Yu said. "I have to thank you for this." Su Miaoyu walked up to Chen Yu and sat down. "If you didn't take me to farm instances, it would have been much harder for me to achieve this." "You're welcome." Chen Yu didn't think he had done much for Su Miaoyu. The instances belong to the Su family, and the cooldown tokens also belong to the Su family. Between him and Su Miaoyu, they were just using each other. "Oh, what's this?" In the dim light, Su Miaoyu noticed Xiao Miao in Chen Yu's hand. That small figure and delicate face instantly melted Su Miaoyu's heart, and her eyes almost turned into heart shapes. "What a cute doll." Saying that, Su Miaoyu subconsciously reached out towards Xiao Miao. However, because she didn't get Chen Yu's permission, her hand froze in midair. "Can I touch it?" Su Miaoyu looked at Chen Yu with a pleading look. Seeing Su Miaoyu's actions, Xiao Miao's expression instantly turned cold. "Get your filthy hands away, you dirty breeder. You, this lowly breeding machine, what qualifications do you have to touch my pure and flawless body?" "Oh," Su Miaoyu was startled, "it's alive. You stupid breeder, are you blind? Or is your filthy brain too stupid to distinguish between living and non-living things?" Xiao Miao scolded with disgust. Tisk, such aggressiveness, Chen Yu secretly marveled. No wonder it's a primal spirit with 4 attack skills. Yes, I'm sorry." Su Miaoyu was dumbfounded by the scolding and could only awkwardly apologize. Although the other party's words were harsh, she couldn't really get angry with such a little creature. Especially since this little creature is Chen Yu's companion. "This is my pet, Xiao Miao. She doesn't like others getting close to her," Chen Yu said. "Oh," Su Miaoyu nodded, "a plant life." "Yes," Chen Yu replied. "Impressive," Su Miaoyu praised. "From its appearance, this plant life that is so close to humans and can even speak is obviously a legendary level existence." However, Su Miaoyu wasn't too surprised. After all, the creatures Chen Yu sent out all have unlimited potential and are very close to legendary level. This small-sized plant life, Xiao Miao, and also being a pet, perhaps its combat power is not as good as those who wield vines and swallow monsters whole. Boom. Just then, a loud noise came from deep within the cave. Chen Yu knew that it was the appearance of the dungeon spider queen boss. Sure enough, 1 minute later, as the kill notification sounded, the instance entered the settlement phase. Settlement completed. Waiting for the plants to bring back the dropped items, Chen Yu chose to exit the instance. Just as they appeared outside, Su Miaoyu handed over a cooldown symbol, looking at Chen Yu with eager eyes. "Shall we continue?" "Okay." Chen Yu nodded and used the cooldown symbol on the instance. After battling a total of 11 times, the cooldown symbol for the instance was used up. In addition to the underground mine, another instance belonging to the Su family was quickly cleared. The profits were slightly lower than the underground mine, but not by much. Su Miaoyu still looked radiant and unsatisfied. Chen Yu also felt unsatisfied, so he asked, can the cooldown symbol be recharged? Before the last entry into the instance, the cooldown symbol was used up, but it wasn't damaged. This indicates that it should be reusable. And the little girl also mentioned that major powers treat the cooldown symbol as a treasure. If it were just a disposable item, there would be no need for such treatment. It can, but it's very troublesome, Su Miaoyu replied. It requires the collaboration of a rank 4 or higher formation master and a symbol maker, as well as a large amount of resources to recharge it. How much resources does it require? Chen Yu asked. If it doesn't require too many resources, he can continue farming here until the college entrance examination starts. In terms of material costs, recharging it once at this stage would require about 10,000 gold coins, Su Miaoyu answered. 10,000 gold coins. That's worth considering. Chen Yu calculated in his mind. Each time they enter the instance, they can obtain 2 boss treasure chests, both of which are epic level. During the final settlement, they can also obtain a legendary level instance treasure chest. Although the treasure chests in nightmare level instances have a higher chance of containing low quality items compared to real level instances, they can still yield 2 epic items and 1 legendary item. Level 50 and below is the beginner stage, and equipment is only transitional and won't be used for long. Even legendary equipment won't be worth much. However, on average, clearing an instance can earn 7,000 to 8,000 gold coins. On Su Miaoyu's side, she doesn't get the boss treasure chests, only the legendary treasure chest from the instance settlement, which is worth 4,000 to 5,000 gold coins. This is enough to cover most of the cost of the cooldown symbol. How about we calculate and recharge it to full before doing it again? Chen Yu suggested. After plundering the Church of Suffering twice and only paying a deposit to the little girl, he still has over 40 million gold coins on him, which is enough to recharge the cooldown symbol many times. As for the final payment to the little girl, if the goods arrive and he doesn't have enough money, he can just ask the Church of Suffering for more. His current identity is the great demon Unisever's appointed archbishop. Surely the Church of Suffering wouldn't refuse if he asked. Even if they refuse, it doesn't matter, he can just rob them. Do you think you can just recharge the cooldown symbol whenever you want? Su Miaoyu gave Chen Yu a disdainful look and explained, recharging the cooldown symbol is not just about the material costs. Symbol makers are a livelihood profession, and formation masters, like planters, are more inclined towards livelihood professions. These 2 professions are easy to find at low levels, but they become very rare at high levels. They are cultivated at great cost by various powers and have high value. Even my great-grandfather would have to spend favors to hire them. And, to fully recharge the cooldown symbol with 20 uses, it would take about 10 days, which is not enough time before the college entrance examination. I see, then let's forget about it, Chen Yu said regretfully. Upon hearing this, Su Miaoyu smiled faintly. What's the rush? There are other copies to be cleared. River Sun City is not the only place where the Su family has private copies. Our Su family has exchange quotas with other forces, so we can also clear copies from other forces. Su School Flower has a vast divine ability. Chen Yu raised his thumb. Can you speak properly? Su Miaoyu scolded angrily. Do I not have a name? Being called School Flower, she felt quite good when she heard others discussing her abilities and appearance behind her back. This is the affirmation of her abilities and appearance by most of her peers in school. But being called that to her face was a bit awkward. Yes, Su Miaoyu, let's go. Chen Yu said, but he didn't care in his heart. HMPH. Women. Clearly, he liked her very much, but he always said otherwise. I don't want to argue with you. Su Miaoyu pouted. Let's go and do what we came here for. Let's go. Chen Yu was excited. Today, we will leave our mark on all the newbie copies in River Sun City. That's right. Su Miaoyu also became excited. Most of the newbie copies of the major forces have leaderboards. In the future, all the newbies who clear copies in River Sun City will know our names. Unfortunately, the teleportation array in River Sun City hasn't been opened recently. Otherwise, newbie professionals from other regions would also admire our glory. River Sun City has quite a few newbie copies, not too many, but not too few. Su Miaoyu and Chen Yu cleared nearly 20 newbie copies throughout River Sun City. You should know that there are only 8 newbie copies in Dongfeng Town. You can imagine how huge of an advantage newbies from major forces have. As Su Miaoyu said, Chen Yu and Su Miaoyu's names are on the leaderboards of most of the newbie copies in River Sun City. Even the nearby cities have started to spread the word that a pair of newcomers in River Sun City have dominated all the newbie copy leaderboards in the city. The miraculous clearance time has shocked the high-level members of the major forces. Everyone knows Su Miaoyu and knows that she is a hidden class with strong combat power. But no matter how strong a hidden class is, it is impossible to achieve such terrifying results. So, everyone's attention is focused on Chen Yu, the captain of Su Miaoyu's team. Chen Yu's information has been encrypted, and the major forces have only found out about the absurd situation of both parents deceased, has a sister and a house, so they naturally won't give up. Because Chen Yu entered the copies with Su Miaoyu based on her reputation. The major forces default that Chen Yu is from the Su family. Su Zhenghui's phone has been ringing off the hook, receiving countless invitations every day. Invitations for the 120th birthday celebration of a certain company's boss's son, the marriage of a 12-year-old guild leader's son to a young wife, the promotion of a certain 4-star life professional. These people's intentions are not about the event itself, they are all trying to indirectly ask for information about Chen Yu. There are even some who openly offer a price to befriend Chen Yu. But who is Su Zhenghui? The president of the professional association. He has always been the one digging into other people's territory, how could he let others dig into his own? Seeing that Su Miaoyu and Chen Yu's relationship is getting better and their levels are skyrocketing, how could he allow others to interfere? As an investment genius, he has always relied on his own judgment. The geniuses discovered by our Su family have cost half of a copy cooldown symbol, and even our most outstanding younger generation can only barely be successfully won over. You all want to reap the benefits without putting in any effort, what are you thinking? President Su's Tai Chi fist is so amazing that it directly confuses the major forces, leaving them no choice but to give up on digging into Chen Yu's background. Due to Su Zhenghui's protection, Chen Yu has not been harassed by any evil spirits or demons in the past few days. After clearing the private instances that can be brushed in River Sun City, the cooldown time for the instances in Dongfeng Town has arrived. Chen Yu, accompanied by Su Miaoyu and Li Wei, cleared the public instances in Dongfeng Town once again. This time, the speed was not slower than when Li Wei was the only one, and all the hidden monsters were also defeated, but the instance rating dropped from SSS level to SS level. Obviously, one of the basic conditions for obtaining the highest rating is that the team cannot exceed 2 people. Chen Yu estimated that if the team was filled with members, the final instance rating would continue to decrease. Perhaps, with a full team, the highest rating for the instance would only be S level. However, this is just speculation, and the actual situation remains to be verified. Unsurpassable sacred ground, under the world tree. Chen Yu looked up at the crown of the world tree. Through the layers of barriers, it was clear that a powerful little life was gradually taking shape. This is the soon-to-be-born primordial light elf, the 6th primordial elemental spirit under the world tree's command. As the light elf fruit fell, it seemed as if a small sun appeared in the unsurpassable sacred ground. Warm and gentle light filled the soft soil. Bathed in the light, this vibrant world gained a touch of divinity. Chen Yu reached out and caught the source of light. As the fruit cracked open, a brighter light shone through the gaps in the shell. This light was dazzling but not glaring, gentle and holy. After a moment, the light converged and turned into a plain-colored dress, draped over the kneeling pocket-sized girl in Chen Yu's palm. She resembled a carved ivory goddess, graceful, elegant, dignified, and serene, embodying the enchanting qualities of both an Eastern lady and a Western noblewoman. The girl smiled and stood up, holding the hem of her dress, stepping back on the lines on Chen Yu's palm, and bowing to Chen Yu. The primordial light offers its blessings to you, my master. You are the primordial light elf, so from now on, you shall be called Xiao Guang, Chen Yu said after thinking for a long time. The girl's eyelids twitched, and her elegant smile stiffened for a moment. To cover up her own loss of composure, her smile became even brighter, and she answered with a soft voice, "Thank you for giving me a name, my master." So obedient. Chen Yu happily touched the crystal-like long hair of the light elf and gave her a fruit candy with an orange flavor. It seems that she is also a simple and lovely little elf. Before Xiao Guang, only Xiao Yan felt happy because of the name given by him. Primordial Light Elf Xiao Guang. Rank: 1 color mythical. Level: 50. Attributes: Strength: 5,500. Agility: 5,500. Constitution: 5,500. Spirit: 11,000. Talents: Light Elementalization. Enter the state of elementalization, immune to all physical damage, immune to all light damage, and increase self-light damage by 500%. Passives: Primordial Light Elf. Reduce the consumption of light skills by 99% and increase their power by 100%. Skills: Holy Domain of Light, Forbidden Curse, Shadow Domain, Forbidden Curse, Thunder Domain, Forbidden Curse, Light of Despair, Forbidden Curse. After delivering Xiao Guang, Chen Yu opened the attribute panel and allocated all the skill points and attribute points he had obtained during this time. In an instant, his attributes soared, and all his skills reached the maximum level before the first advancement. Chen Yu. Profession: Planter, mutated. Level: 50, 0%. Strength: 12 plus 1300, Equipment plus 2000, Fundamental Law. Agility: 13 plus 1250 plus 2000. Constitution: 455 plus 1550 plus 2000. Spirit: 470 plus 1550 plus 2000. Abyss Mana: 3, limit 5. Vitality: 100, limit 100. Unused attribute points: 0. Skill points: 21. Additional attributes: Final damage plus 9%, damage reduction plus 5%. Talents: Absolute Enhancement, Unsurpassable Level. Designate an object for absolute enhancement, including but not limited to life, items, skills, talents. Profession: Passive: Unsurpassable Sacred Ground. LV1. Open an unsurpassable sacred ground, and plant life within it will be greatly strengthened. Each time you advance, you can designate a plant as your life plant, which will undergo a complete sublimation and instant maturity. Skills: Accelerated Growth. LV10. Increases the growth speed of plant life. Plant Enhancement. LV10. Increases all attributes of plant life by 100% for 100 seconds, with a cooldown of 300 seconds. Legendary Life Calculus. LV10. Increases all attributes by 2000 and vitality by 100. Consumes vitality to deduce the quality advancement path of plant life. The higher the quality, the more vitality is consumed. Mythical Embrace of the Abyss. Selects a plant life and abyssifies it, increasing all attributes by 100% and gaining the skill, Demonization. Supreme Devotion of the Abyss. Regardless of time or place, you can summon the Great Will of the Abyss at any time, sacrificing your own existence to resolve crises for you. Note: this skill can be used one more time with each promotion. Current number of uses: 1. This panel is perfect. Being the top scorer in the college entrance examination is nothing. 8 o'clock in the morning, River Sun First High School, playground. The sun slowly rises, as bright as the smile of a 17 or 18-year-old girl. The golden sunlight pours through the thin clouds, covering the entire earth. Today, River Sun First High School is particularly lively. Because all the novice professionals from the 4 high schools in River Sun City have gathered here. The 4 principals sit side by side on the platform in front of the playground, smiling as they look at the bustling students below. Principal Zhang, your school has made quite a name for itself this year. The principal of Second High School said enviously. Not only does it have the highest proportion of combat professionals, but it also has a rare hidden professional. Principal Zhang is highly respected. Isn't it natural for a great teacher to have outstanding students? The principal of Third High School said with a smile. You flatter me. It's all luck. What does it have to do with this old man? Zhang Tianming laughed, remaining humble. Look, over there are the most outstanding combat professionals from our 4th high school. Let's see how they measure up. The principal of 4th high school, an old man with a long beard, pointed to a small group on the playground, stroking his beard and smiling. The other 3 principals immediately followed the direction pointed out by the principal of 4th high school and cast their detection spells. Li Jinming, strong archer, mutated, level 21. Chong Hua, mage, level 20. Jai Zongshu, Swordmaster, mutated, level 22. Amazing. They are all talented individuals. The principal of second high school exclaimed. These professionals in their 20s have all made it to the second round of the college entrance examination with a 100% success rate. They are indeed talented individuals. At the school gate, several professionals wearing the emblem of second high school walked in. The principal of second high school's eyes lit up. Oh, our top students from second high school are here too. The other principals immediately looked towards the school gate. Mu Ziming, ancient martial artist, level 22. Ren Chaoyun, martial cultivator, mutated, level 29. A mutated professional at level 29. Can they compete for the top spot in the province? You've been hiding quite well, kid. We didn't even know about such a genius. You have to treat us to dinner tonight. That's right, we're all colleagues. Can't we be more open with each other? Where, it's all the students' own efforts. The principal of second high school said proudly. At this moment, there was suddenly a commotion in the playground, and most of the students turned their gaze towards the school gate. 3 figures, 2 men and 1 woman, walked into the school. The leading male professional held his head high, holding a platinum shield and emitting a flashy aura. He had a blue-purple halo with an orange glow, and walked with an arrogant stride. The 2 men and women behind him walked side by side, maintaining a distance of less than half a meter. These 2 people didn't have any special effects, and besides their good looks, they seemed quite ordinary. Oh, who is this person with such good equipment? Whose subordinate is he? No, whose child is he? What is he doing? He must be a nouveau riche. Who enters school with equipment effects? As the one behind Su Miaoyu, the school belle of first high school, and also a hidden professional. What school belle? She's the new king of our River Sun City. What new king? So what if she's a hidden professional? We're all still in the novice stage, our attributes and skills haven't fully developed. How much stronger can she be compared to us? Have you been grinding monsters in the wilderness until you're brainless? Don't you know Su Miaoyu's achievements? What achievements? In less than a week, she almost cleared all the novice dungeons in River Sun City. She can clear nightmare dungeons faster than you can finish a cigarette. What? She can clear nightmare dungeons in 1 minute. I don't believe it. It's absolutely impossible. Brother, you're good at finishing things quickly. Quote. On the platform, the principal of second high school frowned. Old Zhang, that shield warrior is also one of your seed players, right? He seems pretty good, but there's something deserving of a beating, the principal of third high school suggested. Yes, that's the feeling, the principal of second high school agreed. With this equipment, his level shouldn't be low, right? The principal of fourth high school cast a detection spell. Li Wei, shield warrior, level 34. Level 34. Level 34. The other 3 principals were also shocked. In a small city like River Sun City, resources are scarce and geniuses are very rare. In general, before the college entrance examination, there are about 25 or 26 levels, which is considered top-notch. Being able to reach level 34 before the college entrance examination is considered top-notch in the provincial capital. Principal Zhang, who is this person? Why haven't I heard of such a powerful shield warrior in our River Sun City? The principal of the second middle school said in astonishment. I'm not sure either. Zhang Tianming smiled bitterly. He didn't have any special impression of Li Wei. The last time they met was at the job transfer ceremony. Level 45. Am I seeing it correctly? Suddenly, the principal of the fourth middle school exclaimed again. That's Su Miaoyu, I know her. The principal of the second middle school also looked over and said, in the past few days, Su Miaoyu and a novice professional named Chen Yu have been dominating the new player instance in River Sun City. But I didn't expect her to grow to such an extent. She truly has the potential to be the top scorer. Indeed, she is a true hidden professional in our River Sun City, the descendant of Su Zhenghui's family, and her reputation is well deserved. The principal of the third middle school also sighed. Compared to the relatively unknown Li Wei, it wasn't as surprising that Su Miaoyu could reach level 45. After all, Su Miaoyu's name had been spreading like wildfire in River Sun City in the past few days. Oh, isn't that Chen Yu next to her? Zhang Tianming, in astonishment, looked at Chen Yu beside Su Miaoyu and cast a probing spell. Chen Yu, Planter variant level 50 not transferred. What? Level 50? Zhang Tianming's eyes almost popped out. Compared to others, Zhang Tianming had a deeper understanding of Chen Yu. Based on the feedback from the fourth transferred planter Zhou Bowen, he also knew that Chen Yu had extraordinary abilities and had perfect epic level plant life under his command, with potential comparable to hidden professionals. It wasn't surprising that Chen Yu and Su Miaoyu, working together, had made a big name for themselves. However, he couldn't figure out how Chen Yu had reached level 50. According to reason, Chen Yu shouldn't have more resources than Su Miaoyu. Even if the two teamed up and shared all the instances that the Su family could access, Chen Yu's level shouldn't be higher than Su Miaoyu's. Level 50. After seeing Chen Yu's information, the reactions of the other three principals were no better than Zhang Tianming's. The old man from the fourth middle school almost fell off his chair. Chen Yu's name was almost synonymous with Su Miaoyu. If you had heard of Su Miaoyu, you would have heard of Chen Yu. Moreover, compared to Su Miaoyu, Chen Yu was even more mysterious. After the shock subsided, the principals discussed and praised Chen Yu, expressing their admiration. Chen Yu, so this is the transcendent level genius hidden by Su Zhengwei. Truly a genius, a once-in-a-millennium genius. No wonder Su Zhengwei always kept it a secret, afraid that others would know and take him away. How long has it been since we had a full-level genius before the college entrance examination in River Sun City? What genius? That's a monster. Not to mention River Sun City, even if you look at the whole country, how many novice professionals can reach the full level before the college entrance examination? Indeed, there are only a few in the whole country. It's hard to cultivate such a monster genius even in the two capitals and the imperial capital. Old Zhang, I heard that you used to think highly of this Chen Yu. You mentioned him at our previous gatherings, saying he was your proud disciple. Zhang, old dog, what kind of luck did you have? How did such a genius come from under your wing? Heaven is unfair. I've been a principal for 30 years, and I haven't even encountered a full-level genius before the college entrance examination, let alone a hidden professional. Zhang, old dog, you've hit the jackpot this year. The three principals from the second, third, and fourth middle schools were filled with envy and looked at Zhang Tianming with eyes full of resentment. This time, no one praised Zhang Tianming's teaching ability. After working together for so many years, everyone knew each other's abilities. Although flattery can get you places, it depends on the situation. A level 50 planter before the college entrance examination clearly had nothing to do with Principal Zhang. To put it bluntly, even if you tied a dog to the position of principal, it wouldn't affect their soaring success. This kind of monstrous genius appearing in the first middle school would be one thing, but the key was that he had a close relationship with Zhang Tianming. After Chen Yu achieved fame, Zhang Tianming's name would inevitably be mentioned frequently. At the very least, he would be given the title of having a discerning eye. Ha ha ha, no need for that. Treat every student seriously, and I believe you will all have such encounters in the future. Zhang Tianming's old face was beaming with joy, and he couldn't help but marvel at how he hadn't misjudged this student. This student is really outstanding. After this year's college entrance examination, Zhang Tianming became a prestigious figure in the education system of Cloud River Province and even the surrounding provinces. After another hour, no one else entered the school gate. At exactly 10 o'clock in the morning, the gate of River Sun No. 1 Middle School closed. The examination venue for the college entrance examination was not in River Sun City, but in Nine Peaks City, the provincial capital of Cloud River Province. All the examination venues for the Soaring Dragon Empire were set in the provincial capital cities. Seeing that it was time, Zhang Tianming, who was on the podium, stood up with a microphone in hand and said, "Dear students, the school has set up teleportation arrays, which will directly teleport you to the examination venue. I believe I don't need to say more to encourage you. Finally, I wish you all success in the examination." Teleportation begins. On the playground, Chen Yu and Su Miaoyu chose to ignore the gazes around them. Su Miaoyu had long been accustomed to the attention of others. Chen Yu, on the other hand, had never cared about it. "How about it? Are you confident about getting into Soaring Dragon University?" Chen Yu asked Su Miaoyu with a smile. Su Miaoyu replied confidently, "Of course. Well then, let's work hard together, my university classmates." "Yeah, let's work hard together." The ground and the sky on the playground lit up with intricate patterns. Then, a white light flashed, and all the students on the playground disappeared. This was Chen Yu's first time using a teleportation array, but he didn't feel anything special, just a slight weightlessness before landing firmly on the ground again. The examination venue was a huge enclosed square with a transparent glass dome above. There were about 1,000 people on the square. Chen Yu looked around and found that Su Miaoyu and Li Wei were not there. They must have been assigned to different examination venues. After a while, a solemn voice echoed across the square. Now, we will announce the examination rules. Please keep quiet, candidates. As soon as the voice came out, the previously noisy examination venue instantly quieted down. Before coming here, each school had specifically educated their students about the knowledge of the college entrance examination. The most important rule was to strictly abide by the examination rules. The rules in the examination venue were extremely strict, and any violation would result in disqualification from the examination. A few seconds later, the voice sounded again. This examination will be divided into different examination scenarios based on different professions. Various professions in daily life and various combat professions will face different examination scenes. In this examination, candidates are prohibited from wearing their own equipment. The examination venue will provide standardized basic equipment based on the profession. During this examination, the use of any consumables is prohibited. The candidate's inventory will be sealed during the examination, and candidates are not allowed to bring any spatial equipment into the examination venue. Violators will be disqualified from the examination and subject to administrative penalties based on the severity of the violation. Now, candidates, please line up to receive the examination equipment and store your personal belongings. A hall rose in the square, and the staff inside were ready. The candidates entered the hall one after another, received the standardized equipment, and stored their personal belongings. Chen Yu didn't like handing over his personal belongings to others, so he had already thrown his things into the unsurpassable sacred ground. After everyone finished changing, the hall disappeared from the square, and the solemn voice sounded again. Dungeon portal, open. Now, the examination begins. In the square, a giant blue portal appeared. The candidates walked into the blue dungeon portal in silence. Chen Yu also followed in the crowd and walked into the entrance of the instance. Immediately, they appeared in an extremely empty land. Hint: due to the instance's characteristics, your inventory has been sealed. The heavenly Tao prompt sounded. Chen Yu checked their inventory and indeed found that they could no longer use it. After a moment, a mechanical sound rang out. Attention examinees, the first level of the exam is about to begin. Exam content. Level 10 Normal Monster, Goblin Warrior *1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. At the moment the countdown reached 0, a goblin holding a rusty short sword appeared about 10 meters away from Chen Yu. The goblin warrior roared and charged towards Chen Yu. What is this thing? Chen Yu didn't even summon any plants and calmly walked forward, kicking it. The goblin warrior instantly exploded into a pile of fragments and disappeared. Although Chen Yu hadn't added any strength or agility, the legendary level alone provided 2,000 points of all attributes. A level 10 minor monster couldn't possibly withstand this level of damage. In reality, this first level was simply a giveaway. The standardized equipment provided by the exam room added 50 points to all attributes. Even if someone with low intelligence came, they could easily defeat a level 10 minor monster. The purpose of standardized equipment should be to compensate for the huge differences in background among examinees to the greatest extent. Examinees with stronger combat awareness, even if their level is not high, can still achieve good results with this set of equipment. The first level of the exam is over. Total time used, 12 seconds. Evaluation, good. You have 10 minutes of rest time, or you can immediately start the next level of the exam. Let's directly start the next level, Chen Yu said. Wow, this college entrance exam is really user-friendly. Defeating a level 10 trash goblin and getting 10 minutes of rest time. But, isn't this really a waste of time? The second level is about to begin. Exam content. Level 10 Goblin Warrior *5. When the countdown ended, 5 goblin warriors appeared in front of Chen Yu. Chen Yu casually summoned a man-eating flower spirit, saying, "It's up to you." The man-eating flower spirit saw the goblin warriors and happily rushed forward. Behind her, 5 flower stems grew, and in a very short time, 5 huge man-eating flowers bloomed. Before the 5 goblin warriors could even move, they were swallowed in one bite. But the next second, the man-eating flower spirit showed a puzzled expression. Clearly, she had eaten 5 monsters, but she felt that the closed flower buds were empty. She couldn't help but open one of the man-eating flowers and carefully examine it. The petals were filled with sharp sawtooth edges and corrosive liquid. However, the food was nowhere to be found. The man-eating flower spirit looked confused and conveyed a sense of questioning to Chen Yu. Chen Yu patted her head to comfort her and didn't say much. This kind of thing couldn't be easily explained to a simple-minded plant life form. In fact, Chen Yu had just noticed that the monsters in this special instance were different from ordinary monsters. After an ordinary monster dies, if its corpse is not picked up, it will respawn after a certain amount of time. But the goblin warrior that Chen Yu had just kicked to pieces didn't leave behind a corpse at all. There wasn't even a notification for the most recent kill. Perhaps the monsters in this instance weren't real existences at all, but rather data or tangible illusions. The second level of the exam is over. Time used, 5 seconds. Evaluation, excellent. You have 10 minutes of rest time, or you can directly start the third level. Begin the third level. Chen Yu made a choice. The second level is about to begin. Exam content, level 15 Wild Wolves *2. A woo. With a roar, 2 strong wild wolves appeared in front of Chen Yu. It can be seen that starting from the third level, it is no longer an easy question. Wild wolves are not like goblins with weak attributes. Level 15 wild wolves have basic attributes of around 40 points. Even some level 10 or level 11 professionals, even if they are wearing standard equipment, may suffer certain injuries. Those with poor combat abilities may be eliminated directly. However, for Chen Yu, this third level is still not interesting. The man-eating flower demon may have been affected by the recent disappearance of food. She hesitated for a moment, did not directly attack, but reached out and grabbed the 2 wild wolves, feeling their life breath up close. After discovering that these were indeed 2 living monsters, she opened her petals and swallowed them. However, her caution was in vain. After the wild wolves died, they disappeared just like goblins, and she didn't eat anything. The man-eating flower demon tilted her head and looked at Chen Yu, with a puzzled expression. "Forget it, you can go back and rest." Chen Yu recalled the man-eating flower demon, and summoned several thorny vine demons and a lily spirit. The lily spirit knelt on the ground, and a huge lily flower bloomed in front of it. Chen Yu walked up and lay on the clean and soft petals, resting his head on the lily spirit's knee. The fragrance made him feel relaxed and happy. The third level exam is over, completed in 21 seconds, evaluation, excellent. You have 10 minutes to rest, or you can directly start the fourth level. No need to confirm with me again. After the level is over, the next level will start directly, Chen Yu impatiently said. Do you confirm giving up all rest time and continuously challenge the levels? Confirmed. The fourth level begins. Exam content. Level 15 Wild Wolves *5. As soon as the 5 wild wolves appeared, they were instantly smashed by more than 10 vines, without even a chance to howl, they were beaten into pieces. The monsters were no challenge at all, so Chen Yu simply closed his eyes and rested, waiting for the exam to end. As the provincial capital of Cloud River Province, Jufeng City is extremely prosperous. In River Sun City, there are many 3rd and 4th level professionals, and even a few rare high-level life professionals can be seen everywhere. In the western part of Jufeng City, there is a huge circular building that occupies a large area. This building is not usually open, only when the annual college entrance examination is held, it operates. Even the staff in the examination room are specially engaged in this industry, not temporary transfers. It can be seen how much importance the Soaring Dragon Empire attaches to the college entrance examination. In the examination command center, the walls are made up of display screens. On the screens, rows of candidate information and current rankings are displayed. In the middle row of seats, a middle-aged man in blue and a person in a black robe sit at the top. Beside them are the political figures of Cloud River Province and the high-level members of the professional association. At this moment, these high-ranking and powerful figures dare not even breathe heavily. Just because these two people in the middle are the forbidden powerhouses presiding over this college entrance examination. The middle-aged man in blue was born in Cloud River Province and is the chief examiner of this college entrance examination. The person in the black robe comes from the imperial capital, the central city of the empire, and is the chief inspector of this college entrance examination. While presiding over the college entrance examination, the two of them are also responsible for deterring troublemakers. In the past, although the chief examiner and the chief inspector came from the central city and the local area respectively, they had good relationships due to their colleagues. But this time is different. Both of them have younger relatives who are highly valued in Cloud River Province. Moreover, one of them transferred from the imperial capital to Cloud River Province temporarily. To put it bluntly, they are eyeing the special admission quota of Cloud River Province. As a forbidden powerhouse born in Cloud River Province, the chief examiner naturally has no good impression of this person. On the screen displaying the rankings, countless names were rapidly changing, but two names consistently held the top positions. First place, candidate number 00128. Current progress in the exam, level 12. Total time for the first 11 levels, 115 seconds. Second place, candidate number 13987. Current progress in the exam, level 12. Total time for the first 11 levels, 127 seconds. After another minute, the first place candidate had already reached level 15, while the second place candidate was still on level 14. Seeing this scene, the middle-aged man in blue raised the corner of his lips. Now it seems that Throne of Fire's forbidden curse was released in vain. There was a hint of mockery in his tone. Hee, how long has the exam been going on? Overlord of Frost, did you get too excited too early? A cold voice came from under the black robe. And the woman's voice went from cold to angry. I've said it before, I didn't release any forbidden curses in your Cloud River Province. I didn't release any. The middle-aged man in blue sneered. How many fire-type forbidden curse mages are there in the Soaring Dragon Empire? If it wasn't you, then who released it? Was it the Red Flame Lord who is stationed on the battlefield, or the Heavenly Fire Lord who is overseas? Or, more absurdly, the Sun Venerable who is developing the secret realm? Oh, right, our current great emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire seems to be able to use the judgment of Doomsday too. I guess the great emperor has been idle lately and came to our Cloud River Province to study some skills. The person in the black robe suddenly fell silent and could only coldly say, if I say it wasn't me, then it wasn't me. As a rank 8 professional, I wouldn't lie like that. Fine, the middle-aged man in blue sneered. If you say it wasn't you, then it wasn't you, all right. Since it's already done, and your younger generation has also come, there's no point in discussing this further. Let's just see if your younger generation can save face for you. Let's see then, the person in the black robe said coldly. The two stopped talking and continued to look at the rankings on the screen. The first few levels were highly random. The monsters were weak, and any skilled professional could kill them in an instant. But after the 10th level, the rankings would stabilize, especially the top positions on the leaderboard. However, after a short period of time, two names shot up like rockets. In just a few seconds, they respectively occupied the first and second places. The previous first and second places were directly pushed down to the third and fourth. First place, candidate number 36,589. Current progress in the exam, completed all 30 levels. Total time, 205 seconds. Second place, candidate number 36,329. Current progress in the exam, level 18. Total time for the first 17 levels, 292 seconds. Who are these two? Throne of Fire, wearing a black robe, exclaimed in surprise. They completed all 30 levels in 205 seconds. Does your Cloud River have such monsters? If I had known, why would I come to Cloud River? I don't know either. Overlord of Frost looked innocent. If I knew there were people like this, I would have taken my child to another province long ago. After the 10th level, the difficulty of the levels increased rapidly, in order to screen and divert the candidates. Even for geniuses, the resistance would become greater, and the time required would become longer. Completing all 30 levels in 205 seconds truly shocked the two forbidden experts. And this second place is much more powerful than your little girl. Throne of Fire's expression was strange. It seems that your Cloud River province is hiding many talents this year. At this time, the third-place candidate, who was Overlord of Frost's younger generation, had only reached level 17, and the total time for the first 16 levels had already exceeded 300 seconds. And the fourth-place candidate, who was Throne of Fire's younger generation, hadn't even completed the 16th level yet. This shouldn't be right. Overlord of Frost looked puzzled. With the scores of these two candidates, they should have been ranked in the top 2 a long time ago. How did they just climb to the top now? Let's see what's going on. Overlord of Frost opened the records of the top 2 rankings. First is the first place. 12 seconds for the first level, only a good evaluation. 5 seconds for the second level, excellent evaluation. The third level is also excellent, and it's only perfect from the 5th level onwards. So, the evaluations of the previous levels brought down the overall score. However, the overall score only affects the real-time ranking during the exam process, making it convenient for us to view, but it doesn't affect the final score. After completing all the levels, it will only be recorded as a full score for the basic levels, so the ranking will automatically rise. Wait a minute. Overlord of Frost noticed that this candidate, apart from taking a relatively long time in the early levels, had almost the same time for the later levels. He could understand what was going on. It's probably that after the monsters respawn, they determine their location, and then the candidate goes over and kills them instantly. But understanding doesn't mean accepting. You see, the assessment content for level 30 is 5 level 30 elite monsters. Even if it were placed in the Kyoto exam venue, those abnormal monsters would still require some effort to deal with. And this candidate with the Idaho 36589 can actually kill them instantly. In other words, in his hands, there's no difference between 5 level 30 elite monsters and a normal monster in their teens. And this second place, Overlord of Frost opened the progress of candidate 36,329 and found that they took a little more time in the first 2 levels, but then made rapid progress. However, this person is still within reason, unlike the first place, which is so outrageous. This first place should start playing the scoring levels, right? Retrieve his real-time data, Overlord of Frost said to the assistant next to him. Yes, sir. The assistant in the examiner's uniform quickly instructed the staff below to perform the operation. In the exam venue, Chen Yu had just rested for a little over 2 minutes when he heard the sound of a prompt. You have completed all 30 basic levels. You can choose to end the exam, exit the venue, or choose to start the endless mode. In the endless mode, monsters will continuously respawn, and you will earn corresponding points based on the number of monsters you kill. The points obtained in the endless mode will serve as the initial score for the college entrance exam rankings. Before the endless mode begins, you have 10 minutes of rest time. Note, the final score in the rankings can be exchanged for various resources after the ranking competition ends. It can also be converted into internal points within the university system after confirming admission to a university for internal consumption within the university. Note, message from the Ministry of Education of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Our ministry encourages capable candidates to fully challenge the endless mode. Then let's begin. Chen Yu chose to directly start the endless mode. According to the announcement, this endless mode is designed to give strong candidates an advantage. It's like a reward level, and it's not worth playing if you don't play it. In the basic levels, each level has hints for the exam content and a countdown timer to prepare the candidates. However, the endless mode has no hints. After Chen Yu chose to start, the monsters immediately refreshed. Or rather, deploy. Chen Yu clearly saw a translucent portal opening not far from him. Then, 10 well-equipped goblin warriors walked out of it. Chen Yu was quite familiar with goblins. From their appearance, the levels of these 10 goblin warriors should be between 30 and level 35. Not enough to see, Chen Yu shook his head. The thorny vine monsters noticed the appearance of the enemies and immediately rushed over. Dozens of vine whips struck, and the 10 goblin warriors instantly turned into pulp. Killed level 30 goblin warrior, experience plus 30, due to level restrictions, experience automatically stored in the experience pool. Killed level 31 Goblin Warrior, experience plus 3-1, due to level restrictions, experience automatically stored in the experience pool. A heavenly message entered Chen Yu's mind, proving that these goblins were real monsters, not illusions generated by a special instance. Real monsters would leave corpses in a short period of time. So, the thorny vine monsters began to enjoy their feast. Kill Goblin Warriors *10, college entrance exam points plus 1. The instance prompt sound also sounded. In front of Chen Yu, a palm-sized number, 1, appeared. Presumably, this is the record of the points obtained by candidates in the endless mode. The transparent portal that was just opened did not close after the Goblin Warriors walked out. About 30 seconds later, 10 more Goblin Warriors walked out of it. The thorny vine monster's eyes immediately lit up. Before these Goblin Warriors had gone far from the portal, they were swept away by dozens of vines. Some goblins that were simultaneously entangled by multiple thorny vines had a miserable fate. The thorny vine monsters didn't give in to each other and directly tore them into several pieces, each taking their own share. However, the thorny vine monsters would soon stop fighting over the corpses, because Goblin Warriors continuously rushed out of the portal. At first, each batch had 10. After 10 batches of Goblin Warriors were quickly killed, it became 20 per batch. The speed of spawning monsters had surpassed the thorny vine monsters' feeding speed. A large number of monster corpses quickly piled up around the portal, far more than the thorny vine monsters could consume. Seeing this, Chen Yu released hundreds of plant lives again. The food-snatching expert, the man-eating flower spirit, appeared. Countless flower stems shot up into the sky, instantly creating a sky-covering sea of man-eating flowers. Now, the speed of monster spawning from the portal was not enough. A batch of goblins would appear and be snatched away immediately. The thorny vine monsters felt the threat and increased their feeding speed. Chen Yu calmly sat on the side, holding a petite lily spirit in his arms, eagerly watching the vines and man-eating flowers fight for food. More than 20 lily spirits sat around Chen Yu, accompanying him to watch. One man-eating flower spirit's performance was particularly outstanding. She didn't compete with her colleagues for the Goblin Warriors that had already appeared. Instead, she quietly opened a few man-eating flowers and pressed them against the portal. After a while, the flowers swelled up. The man-eating flower spirit then took back that flower and replaced it with another batch. She continued this until all the flowers were filled, then happily left the encirclement. This operation made Chen Yu feel somewhat familiar. It seemed that some clever man-eating flowers had done the same thing in a real instance before. Those clever, always well-fed epic-level creatures have now evolved to the legendary level. Inspired by the pioneers, the rest of the man-eating flower monsters followed suit. The spawning portals were tightly surrounded by layers of man-eating flowers. The thorny vine monsters were dumbfounded, as they didn't have this ability and could only retreat and sit with the lily flower monsters. It wasn't until the spawning speed became faster than the digestion speed of the man-eating flower monsters that the thorny vine monsters had a chance to reappear. There was no time indication in the instance, and it was unknown how long had passed before the kill notification stopped. Next to the teleportation portal, it was already crowded with dense plant life, totaling thousands. These were all released later because the spawning speed became faster. Chen Yu raised his eyelids, and his score record had already reached 5,000. This meant that during this period of time, his plant life had blocked and killed 50,000 Goblin Warriors. After waiting for a while and not seeing any monster respawns, Chen Yu ordered his plant life to step back and approached to check himself. At this moment, the transparent teleportation portal was still there, but no more Goblin Warriors were pouring out of it. Is it over? Chen Yu felt a bit puzzled. It shouldn't be, right? The final level of the basic stage had elite monsters at level 35. It didn't make sense that in the endless mode, there were only some low-quality small monsters. Cloud River Province Examination Hall, the command center for the college entrance examination. As time passed, the difficulty of the levels continued to increase. On the screen wall, the names of the candidates kept dimming. This meant that these candidates had been eliminated and their journey in this college entrance examination had come to an end. Their scores had already been determined, and only the final judgment would be made at the end of the examination. However, the two forbidden powerhouses, who were the chief examiner and the chief inspector, had already forgotten to pay attention to the general situation of the candidates in this examination. They were staring intently at the first place on the leaderboard displayed on the big screen. On the far right of the data column, there was a continuously jumping red number, representing the points obtained by this candidate in the endless mode. The two forbidden powerhouses watched as the red number rose at an increasingly fast pace. From the initial 1 to the current 5,000. Suddenly, an assistant wearing an examiner's uniform entered the hall and walked to Lord Frost's side, whispering, "Chief Examiner, there's a small issue in the examination hall." "What's the situation? Speak up," Lord Frost asked calmly. For the combat-oriented profession, the primary monsters prepared for the endless mode, the goblin warriors, are not enough, the assistant said cautiously. "All used up," Lord Frost frowned. "If there aren't enough, quickly replenish them. We can't let the high scores of the top geniuses be affected, especially the one in first place." The college entrance examination special instance could create physical illusions, but in the endless mode, real monsters had to be used. This was a strict rule. The Soaring Dragon Empire was always well prepared for the college entrance examination and rarely made mistakes. A low-level mistake like running out of monsters should not have occurred in the examination hall. "Well, actually, the reason there aren't enough monsters is because of the current first-ranked candidate," the assistant said with a wry smile. "My lord, you should be aware of the rules of the endless mode in the college entrance examination. The endless mode is divided into stages based on time. The main purpose of the first two stages is to test the candidate's comprehensive abilities. The candidates need to protect themselves and counterattack effectively while there are a large number of monsters around them. In the first two stages of the endless mode, monsters spawn in waves every 30 seconds. The first 10 waves have 10 monsters each, and the 11th to 20th waves have 20 monsters each, and so on, until the number of monsters reaches the scene's limit. Even if the monsters are killed, they will be replenished." "Yes, I know that," Lord Frost nodded. Although the chief examiner's responsibility was mostly to guard and deter, rather than deal with the specific details of the college entrance examination, he still had some understanding of the examination system. "The problem lies in the mechanism, and this is a situation we have never encountered before," the assistant said with an incredulous expression. In addition to the fixed time for monster spawns, the endless mode also has a hidden mechanism. After a certain amount of time, if the number of monsters in the scene is less than 80% of the scene's limit, then the interval between waves will gradually shorten, and the number of monsters per wave will increase until it reaches 80% of the scene's limit. In other words, the faster the candidates eliminate the monsters, the faster the monsters will respawn. And there is no upper limit to the spawning speed, which will increase as time goes on. Based on our observations, there has never been a situation where the first-ranked candidate's examination hall has experienced monster accumulation from start to finish. So, the monster that was prepared for the exam room was completely wiped out by him alone, right? "I understand," Overlord of Frost nodded. "For the first level, every 10 goblin warriors count as 1 point for the college entrance examination." On the big screen, in the first place candidate's score column, the bright red number, 5,000, signifies that he has already killed 50,000 goblin warriors. In endless mode, the monsters are goblin warriors at around level 30, with a maximum limit of 500 per scene. Even with the normal spawn rate, even if they were at the maximum level of 50, a candidate specializing in area damage wouldn't be able to eliminate the monsters in a short amount of time. It wouldn't take long for the monsters to reach the maximum limit. Capturing and imprisoning monsters also comes at a cost. There aren't many geniuses who can enter endless mode during the college entrance examination. Naturally, the monsters wouldn't be prepared in large quantities. Based on past college entrance examinations, 50,000 goblin warriors is already more than 5 times the total demand for endless mode. In this case, it's not that the exam room didn't prepare enough, but rather that the first-ranked candidate is too abnormal. It's a pity that we can't observe the elimination round instance, otherwise, I really want to see it with my own eyes, Overlord of Frost thought regretfully. "Your Excellency Chief Examiner," Throne of Fire stood up and walked over, frowning. "Could it be that this first-ranked candidate cheated in some way? Shouldn't we investigate him?" Upon hearing this, Overlord of Frost immediately looked at Throne of Fire with a dumbfounded expression. What do you mean? Throne of Fire angrily asked. Taking a deep breath, Overlord of Frost calmly asked, Your Excellency, what do you think he used to cheat? Could it be that he used disposable consumables? Throne of Fire said uncertainly. Upon hearing this, Overlord of Frost shook his head. Your Excellency, did you not familiarize yourself with any relevant information before participating in the college entrance examination? Not to mention that there was a check for carried items before the start of the exam. Even if he managed to evade the check and bring consumables into the exam instance, he wouldn't be able to use them. First, the item slots in the exam instance are sealed off, and not just for the candidates, even you and I wouldn't be an exception if we entered. This is a rule of the instance. Second, the instance has a highly sensitive detection and alarm system. Once someone uses a consumable, even if it's just a drop of potion, it will trigger an alarm and kick the user out of the instance. Then, could it be that someone took the exam for him? Throne of Fire said, I heard that some novice professionals intentionally stay at level 50 without advancing. Upon hearing this, Overlord of Frost glanced at her indifferently, without answering. After a moment, Throne of Fire pondered for a while and realized that her idea was quite foolish. The identity of the candidates has been rigorously verified. If someone could take the exam for the college entrance examination, the most likely scenario would be that there is a worm within the Soaring Dragon Empire's education system, and it holds a high position. Even if the higher-ups of the education system were corrupt, they would have to be extremely cautious and afraid of being discovered. It would be impossible to cause such a big commotion. Moreover, this kind of achievement is not something that even the top talents in the capital city could achieve, let alone a novice who never advances. Cough cough cough. Now that things have come to this, let's talk about what to do next. Throne of Fire awkwardly coughed a few times and changed the topic. According to the college entrance examination system, the exam room should continue to provide him with monsters until the end of the rank 1 period. However, replenishing the monsters is meaningless given his speed of killing. It's clear that he is blocking the door and farming monsters, killing as many as he wants. Indeed, Overlord of Frost nodded, let's end his rank 1 period first. But how are the scores calculated? The Overlord of Flames asked. Only half of the time for rank 1 has passed. In endless mode, the monsters should be endless. Each monster represents the points that the examinee can obtain. The current situation is that the examinee has the ability to continue earning points, but the examination site cannot provide more monsters. After contemplating for a moment, the Overlord of Frost said, according to the supplementary regulations of the Soaring Dragon Empire Professional College Entrance Examination Implementation Measures, if the examinee suffers loss of income due to the negligence of the examination site in the endless mode level, they can be compensated with 105,000 points for the college entrance examination. The specific compensation amount will be determined by the relevant personnel at the examination site. In light of the current situation, I propose to increase the examinee's college entrance examination points by 5,000 as compensation for the examination site's inability to provide more monsters. What do you all think? Seconded. The Throne of Fire raised his right hand first. Seconded. I also second. The other examiners and supervisors present also agreed one after another. Well then, I hereby announce that the examination progress of examinee number 36,589 will be artificially interfered with, ending their rank 1 in the endless mode. Secretary, make the relevant records and clearly state the reasons. When archiving, include the on-site video recording from the College Entrance Examination Command Center, as well as the recorded information of the instance. Executor, proceed with the relevant operations. Yes, sir. Yes, Your Excellency, the Chief Examiner. The Secretary and the Executor began their respective actions. Suddenly, the Throne of Fire took off the helmet covering his head, revealing the heroic face of a woman with star-shaped eyebrows and sharp eyes. She smiled at the corner of her lips, holding her chin with her right hand, and said, according to the monster spawning mechanism in the endless mode level, half of the time is enough to achieve a score of 5,000 points. No matter what happens in the second half, it will be higher than 5,000 points. Due to the efficiency limitation of the teleportation gate itself, this number should be around 8,000, 9,000, am I right? You're right, the Overlord of Frost said, However, according to the regulations, 5,000 points is already the maximum compensation. I remember, there is also such a rule in the college entrance examination, right? The Throne of Fire laughed. Chief examiners or supervisors of rank 8 and above, if they recognize the performance of a certain examinee, can use their personal identity to give them additional rewards of no more than 5,000 points. The rewarded points are not included in the basic score of the college entrance examination ranking competition, but after the college entrance examination, they can be exchanged for resources equivalent to normal college entrance examination points. In addition, the awardee needs to provide equivalent resources for the rewarded points to the education system. I have decided to give an additional reward of 5,000 points. That's true, the Overlord of Frost's expression became strange, but are you sure about this? This rule is meant to give opportunities for strong individuals to invest in promising newcomers. Endless mode points can be included in the ranking competition as a basic score and can be exchanged for resources after the college entrance examination. However, rewarded points are not included in the examination ranking and can only be used to exchange for resources. Moreover, these points are obtained by the awardee through resource exchange. Compared to directly giving resources, the Soaring Dragon Empire education system acts as an intermediary to profit from the price difference. Therefore, in general, there are not many strong individuals who exchange for rewarded points. Even if they do, it would only be a few tens or hundreds. To directly exchange for the full amount of 5,000 points is extremely rare. There is a large reward. In addition to earning the price difference, there is also a great risk. Examiners cannot view specific information about candidates during the exam. The two forbidden powerhouses were able to know the exam numbers of their own juniors because they asked the candidates themselves beforehand. This leads to the possibility that the person you invest in may be a genius cultivated by someone else. In this way, this investment is likely to be in vain, and can only be considered as creating a good relationship. Resources are a small matter. The biggest problem is losing face among peers, and letting others' geniuses shine. For example, if Throne of Fire invests 5,000 points in the Junior of Overlord of Frost, the Junior of Overlord of Frost will undoubtedly become famous. Throne of Fire himself, on the other hand, will be ridiculed for not having talented people in his family and being impatient. Therefore, Overlord of Frost does not really understand Throne of Fire's behavior. The performance of the top candidate in this session is indeed amazing, but in the eyes of the forbidden powerhouses, it is just like that. Forbidden powerhouses have seen and experienced a lot. Standing at the top of the professional society, what geniuses have they not seen? There are college entrance exams every year, and outstanding newcomers often appear. However, among these geniuses, how many can eventually become forbidden powerhouses? Quickly clearing the basic levels, blocking the door and brushing the first level of the endless mode, although rare, is not unheard of. By combining high-damage talents with high-endurance professions, or high-damage professions with high-endurance talents, it is possible to perfectly replicate the achievements of the current top-ranked candidate. In addition to the usual combat professions, professions that rely on subordinate units to fight, such as Beastmasters, Spirit Masters, Planters, Summoners, and Necromancers, can also achieve this if they obtain high-quality summons. Moreover, who would believe that novice professionals who can achieve this have no backing? I am sure to reward him with 5,000 points. Please help me make an announcement. Throne of Fire said. Seeing that Throne of Fire was determined, Overlord of Frost could only agree. I announce that Ling Shuhei, the rank 8 professional and the chief inspector of the Cloud River province in this session of the college entrance examination, with the honorary title of Throne of Fire, will receive an additional reward of 5,000 points for candidate number 36,589. Secretary, take care of. We don't need to record the details. Executive, send a notice to the candidates and the outside world. The main purpose of sending a notice to the candidates is to inform this candidate that there are powerhouses paying attention to him and investing in him. Sending a notice to the outside world is to promote the candidate's reputation and also to inform other powerhouses that I have taken an interest in this person, so don't interfere. Yes, sir. Understood, Chief Examiner. Extra rewards are personal actions of the powerhouses and do not require approval from the examination hall. After the reward was completed, Throne of Fire sighed and said to Overlord of Frost, "Don't blame me for not reminding you, if your junior is important, you better also give some favors. The college entrance examination is not just one round. The top 2 in the Cloud River province this year are basically unrelated to our 2 families. This person, regardless of who he belongs to, and what specific potential he has, at least for this year's college entrance examination ranking competition, candidates will have to consider his attitude if they want to achieve good results. Of course, if you prefer to cultivate talents at home and think Soaring Dragon University is useless, then it doesn't matter. Overlord of Frost, who was staring at the big screen, was stunned for a moment, and his face changed slightly. After thinking for a moment, he spoke with a dark face. I announce that Wan Zhang, the rank 8 professional and the chief examiner of the Cloud River province in this session of the college entrance examination, with the honorary title of Overlord of Frost, will give an additional reward of 5,000 points to candidate number 36,589. In addition, quickly prepare new rank 1 monsters and make sure to replenish the quantity before other candidates start the endless mode. In the examination room, Chen Yu silently waited for the monster to respawn. The plant creatures stared at the teleportation gate, drooling. Several minutes passed. Chen Yu didn't wait for a new monster to appear, but instead heard a notification sound. Announcement: Candidate number 36,589. Due to insufficient monster quantity in the examination room, Endless Mode Rank 1 has ended prematurely. Your remaining time has been settled as 5,000 points for the college entrance examination. So, even the college entrance examination can have mistakes. Chen Yu was greatly surprised. Fortunately, there was compensation of 5,000 points for the college entrance examination, so it wasn't a big loss. Announcement: Candidate number 36,589. Ling Shuhei, the rank 8 professional examiner and inspector of Cloud River Province, also known as the Throne of Fire, has awarded you an additional 5,000 points. Note: the additional award is a personal action by examiners or inspectors of rank 8 and above, acknowledging your outstanding performance in the examination. Note: the award points can be combined with the college entrance examination points after the examination, but they will not be included in the basic score of the second round of the college entrance examination. After the 2 announcements, the points in front of Chen Yu changed to 10,000. Next to the normal points, there was also a display of award points, 5,000. Has a strong person noticed me? Is this an investment in me? Chen Yu instantly understood the underlying meaning. Moreover, this strong person was the chief examiner of the college entrance examination, a rank 8 professional. With 5,000 points, it should only indicate a friendly attitude. After I finish the exam, they might send someone to recruit me. Chen Yu decided that if it didn't affect his chances of becoming the top scorer in the college entrance examination, he could agree for now. As for the possibility of exploitation or signing an unequal contract by the forbidden strong person, would he be afraid? He dared to fleece the wool of the Abyss Great Demon, so what was a forbidden strong person? If the other party was unfriendly, he could just fleece the wool and run away. If the other party persisted, he would directly summon 6 little spirits to counter-curse with him and see who was afraid of whom. However, not long after, another announcement sounded. Announcement: Candidate number 36,589, Wan Zhang, the chief examiner of the college entrance examination in Cloud River Province, also known as the Overlord of Frost, has awarded you an additional 5,000 points. This second announcement puzzled Chen Yu. If the points were different, it could be explained as 2 strong individuals both favoring him and competing for him. But if the points were exactly the same, what did it mean? Did it mean they both expressed their favor and let him choose after he left? Just then, the notification sound rang again. Endless Mode Rank 1 has ended. You have 30 minutes of rest time, or you can directly start Endless Mode Rank 2. Start Rank 2 directly. Hearing the notification sound, Chen Yu no longer pondered the issue of award points. Anyway, these things would become clear to him after he left. At this stage, the exam was still important. As Rank 2 of the Endless Mode began, 10 humanoid monsters over 2 meters tall, with green skin, fangs, and heavy cold weapons, rushed out of the teleportation gate. Orcs. Chen Yu immediately thought of the classic image from a game in his previous life. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.